Oh, hello, hello, boys and girls. It's CS on Friday. We're having our usual stream, and of course, we already have a guest here, the Chinese. How's it going, the Chinese?
Hello, please. Hello.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good,
Konnichiwa. I
good,
mean,
good.
not
Not
konnichiwa.
Japanese. We know Japanese dog.
Yeah. You eat the dog.
No, they eat dog. We don't eat dog. Korea eat dog.
Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm
We
sorry.
eat fetus.
I'm sorry. Very. Yeah, pizza in China, man. Pizza is a
No, no, no,
Chinese.
no, no. No pizza. Fetus. Fetus.
P, P what?
Fetus.
Fetus. Ah, fetus. Oh god. Oh no. It's like it's a joke. We're joking here, but I did see like a video on 4chan where there were some women in China, wrapping something on some dead baby bodies. I shit you not, man. It was insane. It was some fucking insane shit. I have no idea what was going on, but oof, that was hardcore. It's like most of the shit I see in the world happens in China, man. In China, it's usually a few different things. It's either animal cruelty, it's either cruelty against children, or it's accidents. Mostly it's accidents, but also a lot of animal cruelty and cruelty against children. Like there's kidnappings of kids and shit. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, quite a number of years ago, I remember reading an article about, well, basically places where, or instances where people have got their cock cut off for one reason or the other. And in almost all cases, it's always a Chinese wife cutting off their husband's cock.
Yikes!
Yeah, I know. Fucking scary. Don't marry a Chinese wife.
Yeah. I want the base Chinese wife. She's based. She's based. Yoink. That's it. Jesus Christ, man. That's fucking insane.
That's not only that. You can imagine how much she'll be nagging you throughout the course of your career. She'll be going something. You'll be going with something along the lines of, "Oh, honey, I got a promotion. You get promoted CEO? No, I didn't get promoted CEO. Why you not get promoted CEO? That's the type of conversation you'll be getting day in, day out. Why the fuck are you not a CEO?
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ. But yeah, look, I don't want the title to be just clickbait, and I do have a certain video that I wanted to show here.
By all means.
You see the title, don't you? The Chinese. It's about neo-Nazis in Israel.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, man, dude. I shit you not, there's fucking. I mean, there was like an incident of neo Nazis in Israel. I don't know if there still is. But like, it was a guy who told me about this, and I haven't been able to do a stream about it. But I am going to speak about it now. What happened
What precisely constitutes neo-Nazism in Israel? Because Israel itself, I'll admit, is a little bit it's something of an ethno-republic. I'll put it in those terms.
It's like Nazis for the Nazis, man. But anyway, I'm joking. I'm joking. The Jews.
If anything, I'd be surprised if Nazis could survive in Israel. I'd imagine they'd get killed very quickly.
Well, look, let's take a quick look here. It's 14 minutes, but I'm gonna jump around a little bit. It's basically like a bunch of kids from what I see, like from Eastern Europe. The main character, this guy. Hold on. Let me just play it a little bit. I'll explain later.
We're interested about girls, cars, things like that. Just usual guys.
Girls, cars, swastikas, usual stuff.
Nothing special.
To his parents, Ivan Kuzmin seemed just an average teenager.
Basically, in the video, it says that this guy, Ivan Kuzmin, is from Ukraine, but Kuzmin is a Russian name. So, yeah, he's probably like ethnically Russian, but he lives in Ukraine. It basically goes like this: names that end with in or of, for example, Grigorin or Sidorov or some stuff like that, or Putin. Putin is a typically Russian name. I mean, it's not common, but the termination with "in" is a Russian termination, or "of."
Don't
You know?
forget Svetlana. You know, that most typical of
Who?
Russian names.
What?
Svetlana.
Yeah, man,
Svet.
that's fucking first name, motherfuckers. Jesus. I'm talking about surnames, you idiot.
Oh no, that's not nice.
Yeah, man, I'm an evil person. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first name Svetlana, yeah, it's very popular in Russia and in Ukraine. But I'm talking about surnames, you know.
Yeah. You've made that clear already.
Yeah. So, and in Ukraine, the terminations are usually uk or anko. For example, Voloshuk, Shevchenko, you know, shit like that. But yeah, look at this guy. He's actually pretty good looking. I'm not even joking, man. Like a tall guy, pretty good looking. It makes you wonder why he became a neo-Nazi. You usually
Gay.
think the rejects of society that become trash like that.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but still, gay.
Hey, man, what the hell? Look at him. Look at him. You know, he's a good-looking.
He is actually a good-looking guy. Yeah, I mean, compared to the neo-Nazis I usually see, which is very rare. Usually they're in Speaker's Corner. Yeah, he's actually quite good-looking. I'll go with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, because most neo-Nazis are just fucking ugly. I mean, honestly, how the fuck do neo-Nazis think they're the master race? I mean, if I was deciding on what the master race should constitute, they would be amongst the first to go.
Dude, it's like you know,
Not that I would, just
really.
FYI.
Yeah, it's like a huge complex of inferiority. So they need to feel special about something. So they need to think, oh, I'm actually superior. You know, those guys, they're just jelly. They're just
But they're
jelly.
so fucking ugly, though. My God.
I know. You know, it's what it is. It's what it is. Let's watch it a little bit more. Let me just give a gist of what's going on in the video here.
I felt that I'm with people just like me. Every group of friends have something between them, something that connects them. That was the thing that connected us.
Ivan Kuzmin lives in a small apartment in a middle-class neighborhood near Tel Aviv. He moved here with his family from Ukraine almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, you see, it says that he's from Ukraine, but his name is not Ukrainian. But that might be Ukrainian. Who knows? Who the hell knows?
I'm just wondering, how is it possible that I mean, surely a person like him would be deported from Israel, I'd imagine. No?
I think he's actually kind of Jewish by blood, at least partially. You know, I'm not entirely sure. Like in video, it doesn't actually explain clearly about that, but I think he moved to Israel because he has Jewish heritage or some shit.
Okay, that would make sense because, you know, there is Aliyah, which is the law of return where you get an Israeli citizenship, but you give up all forms of previous nationality, which is, well, the reason why you've got so many people of Eastern European origin in Israel today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think he didn't get deported simply because of that. Because yeah, I mean, Israel doesn't strike me as the most liberal of countries that's gonna just let neo Nazis into their country and it's gonna just be like, oh, you're still allowed to stay. Yeah, you're still allowed to stay.
They are amongst, you know, one of the most liberal countries in the Middle East. I'll give them credit for that, and to some extent, they do abide by the rule of the law. Well, no, seriously, they genuinely are, especially compared to their neighbors.
Exactly, man. That's the point. Compared to their neighbors.
It's not the gold standard of liberalism, but compared to their neighbors, they're quite saintly when it comes to abiding by the rule of law.
Well, yeah, I can't disagree with that. But again, we're talking about countries in the Middle East, and right now the Middle East is, not liberal at all. Anyway, let's see a little bit more.
There they called me some the things like dirty Jew, and here they called me stinky Russian.
You hear? So it does say, it does imply that he's Jewish, because they called him Dirty Jew apparently in Ukraine. Now, honestly, I didn't really see that much discrimination against Jews. Like in my village, there were two synagogues which were abandoned because, well, World War II, basically, the
Yeah.
Jews fleeing with Stalin's prosecutions. Then there was World War II. They kept fleeing. Obviously, Nazi Germany wasn't any better for them.
It's just
And
it's just a little bit odd, isn't it, that a Jewish bloke would choose to be a neo-Nazi?
oh man, it's. I mean, look, you get people from all. You can get people from all kinds of backgrounds. Honestly, like you can get a white nationalist who's black, or you can
True.
get Jewish neo-Nazi. Like some people just make these conclusions. Nowadays, I'm noticing a lot of self-destructive behavior.
Yeah, you got a point. I mean, I suppose it is something that's quite well known in the West, where you have, how do I put it? Um, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think of they're basically left-wing people, but effectively
Yeah,
what they amount to is white supremacists, but with a guilty conscience. I mean, that's the only thing that
yeah.
distinguishes far left-wingers from the KKK, at least from my point of view. I'm not sure, people
Yeah.
might have a different opinion, but that's my observation.
Look, I think we see so many self-loathing white people in the West that we sometimes forget that there are also people of other ethnicities that are very self-loathing. That like self-loathing isn't restricted to white people. It's just that it's
No,
much
no, no.
encouraged in white people nowadays. With the
Yeah.
white cult, with the reparations, with the whatever, don't reproduce your white or some shit. It's just.
Do people actually say that? Don't reproduce with your wife?
I mean, some of them they do. They usually don't say it openly because they realize it doesn't look good when you say it in public. But they think that way. Like I spoke to a hardcore vegan guy in Speaker's Corner one time, and he ticked all the boxes of self-loathing. And eventually, I drove the conversation to such an extent, and he didn't even care, man. He like willingly drove there. For him, what he was saying wasn't strange at all. Wasn't weird. Like at some point, he said that for him, slicing a piece of beef was the same as killing an unborn fetus. For him, it was the same thing. Like doing abortion and slicing a piece of beef, it was exactly the same thing for him. And at that point, I was basically like, okay, I don't think we have any more to discuss here. Like the guy was just too far gone, man. Some people are just too far gone.
True. Yeah, but I suppose some nationalities are remarkably jingoistic, though, I often find. Like, the Japanese, they're still very jingoistic, I find. And the Turks, yeah, I always bring up the Turks, but they're too complicated. So, you know what, let's continue the video.
Yeah, let's watch a bit more.
How did that make you feel?
Nothing good. I don't know. I got disappointed because I thought that once I come here, I won't feel this dislike, hatred.
Shalom.
After the Soviet Union collapsed in the early 1990s, around 1 million Russians, Ukrainians, and others immigrated to Israel. To qualify under Israel's law of return, they needed only...
Yeah, those are typical faces of Eastern Europe. Those are not Middle Easterners at all. Like especially this lady here. She looks like a typical Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, or Eastern European lady. Looks
Yeah,
very,
part of the
lookalike.
yeah, call them part of the Hasidic Jewish community.
Yeah.
a single Jewish grandparent, but their sons and daughters often felt little or no connection to their Jewish heritage. Ivan Kuzmin fell in with a gang of thugs who called themselves Patrol 36, a neo-Nazi hate group.
I don't know, when you look at those movies, it really looks bad, but I don't know, I didn't took it serious.
Ivan Kuzmin's initiation into Patrol 36 wasn't caught on camera. It came on a night like this, after he and his friends got drunk celebrating his 17th birthday. The group didn't just focus on Jews. Its victims were often illegal workers or others unlikely to go to the police.
They were usually Chinese and drug addicts, people that can't ask for help.
Oh, so he hates Chinese people, does he?
Oh, shit just got real, man. Shit just got real.
What China ever do to him?
They ate his dog, man.
No. Oh crap, we do eat dog. Don't. Oh fuck.
kidding. But yeah, let's be. But yeah, I mean, look, it's basically he felt ostracized in both places. He didn't feel like he belonged, so he decided to join a group, like a gang of people who would abuse people. So he would feel somebody's inferior to even him because he was feeling pretty inferior. It's it's a pretty common reaction, but I mean,
Yeah.
it takes it to an extreme that's very uncommon. But the
Yeah.
reaction itself is common in society. Like people look to abuse somebody else who's they can abuse, so they can feel better about their own sense of inferiority.
Yeah. If I wanted to do that, I'd join the military.
I mean, in the military, you actually have to do work. You actually have to do some shit. Plus, I heard some disturbing rumors about some soap picking in the military. Yes.
Oh, do you mean picking up the soap?
Yeah, I heard some disturbing rumors about that.
Oh wait, no. Okay. So he's too lazy to work, so he can't join the military, but he's willing to pick up the soap. Has he considered prison?
Oh no, man! I'm talking about the military. I'm saying that there's rumors about the military.
I know. That the military's gay. I get it.
Yeah, I mean not gay, but like okay, it is pretty gay, but not like we admit that we're gay, blah blah blah. Not acting in a gay way. They just fuck each other in the act.
Yeah. You've made the point, Pavlov.
Yeah, let's keep going.
And weaker.
By the way, there's plenty of videos in Russia of stuff like this happening. Like they approach homeless people and shit like that with knives, and they shank them, and then they just leave. It's pretty popular. I watch lots of those videos in 4chan. Like there's a lot of videos like that you can find. It's pretty disturbing, man.
That's the reason why I don't go on 4chan.
Yeah, but I do go on 4chan specifically for that, because in 4chan you see the shit that actually goes on that nobody's gonna talk about. Like, no way you're gonna find out somebody saying, "Oh, in China there's this many people and this many accidents in factories. In China there's kids getting kidnapped. In Russia there's Nazis shanking people that they don't like. In Mexico and Brazil there's gangs cutting their opponents to pieces while they're still alive, like cutting their legs and arms and shit and tearing them apart. It's insane. Nobody's gonna say that. Like you have to see for yourself.
I know. Yeah, I know. I understand this stuff happens, but it's just I'm the type of guy who doesn't personally want to view it. That's just my personal preference.
Now that's all right. That's all right. Not everybody wants to view it, but I see it, so I believe it. Because when people tell me about this stuff, I'm like, it takes a bit more than just somebody telling me that this happens here. When it's unbelievable stuff, like when the guy told me about neo-Nazis in Israel, I didn't believe him. But then I watched this video and, well, shit, it actually does happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think they'd just get murdered, people openly being neo-Nazis in Israel because, well, I mean,
not openly, obviously. They're not open with it, They're kind of acting clandestinely. It's just that the police didn't have enough of a reaction to actually find out the violence that they were doing. Or maybe, if you want to think in a more disturbing way, the police didn't care about them kicking the ass of some homeless people. That's also a possibility,
Yeah, true.
Maybe they simply didn't mind, but who knows? Let's see a little bit more. I can see that we're being dragged to watch the whole thing But let's just jump around a little bit. Look, there's like this nice little Buddhist symbol near a synagogue. You see?
Back in early 2005, it's
Not 2005, they say.
all was sprayed with graffiti. The swastikas were back to front.
Just
Graffiti.
I think they wrote Rammstein on the floor. That looks like Rammstein, like Ramst, and then this looks like an N, and maybe the E is under the leg of the guy, but I'm not sure.
The swastikas were back to front.
It just hurt the whole Jewish community to see what I had done. I thought that the police have to take care of it and stop it.
In fact, the police paid scant attention to a string of increasingly bold attacks. More than 6 months after the synagogue was vandalized, Avram Levin was passing a group of young men who shouted in Russian that Jews must be killed. Levin understood his tormentors. He's also a Russian immigrant.
משהו גסות על יהודים, אמרתי, זה לא יפה, זה ארץ של יהודים. גרים כאן. והם פשוט לא הבינו.
As Avram Levin tried to escape, the men threw rocks and hit him in the leg. He made it to the main street, but they pursued him.
אני עמדתי כאן, אחד בא פה, אחד בא מאחורה, בשתי צדדים, מכות גדולות, אני רק עשיתי הגנות עם ידיים, ככה.
As he fended off the blows, Avram Levin broke his hand. He says the police showed no interest in the attack and didn't properly follow up.
זה היה הפתעה בשבילי שבארץ ישראל יהודי לא יכול לקבל הגנה נגד נאצים במדינה שלו. זה פשוט מוזר. כמו שלא היה שעה, שלא היה כל התהליך.
The
Yeah,
Holocaust, the killing of an estimated 6 million Jews in Europe in World War II, understandably looms large in Israel.
Yeah, I think this is one of the Holocaust museums in Israel.
Honestly, a simple solution to this, from my understanding, would be that guy just simply needs to get laid. I mean, surely it would be that simple. And that's
Not always, man. Like you can't always think that way. Sometimes it's getting laid is not really.
no, seriously. If you want to get somebody to cease doing a destructive hobby or pursuing a destructive group, get them laid.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to get laid? What if they see it as impure in their ideology that they have? I've met people like those, that they don't want to get laid. It's not like they're looking for it. They just don't want it. You can't really get them to do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, you were saying that usually neo-Nazis look ugly, and I said the same thing. Let's see the other guys who were neo-Nazis. The guy, they look more like neo-Nazis. Look at that. Well, not this guy, obviously. The next one.
His hood's covered, so.
Yeah, these ones. Look.
8 gang.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. This guy looks fucking ugly.
This one looks like a proper North FC.
Members have been on trial now for the best part of a year.
This one isn't too bad. He's like, all right.
Yeah, not too bad. I agree with you on that one.
Kuzman doesn't sit with them because when the police came knocking on the Kuzman's door, he turned on his friends and became an informant.
Yeah, so basically he can live now because he was an informant. He snitched on his buddies.
Yeah.
They had nothing. That's what
You see, the one who has a prospect of getting laid was the one that became the informant. You see?
Wow, all the questions are suddenly answered, man.
Yeah.
without me, so I gave them all the information they wanted.
What kind of information helped them?
I explained them who's in the movies and where, because their faces are covered.
Throughout the trial, Ivan Kuzman's been under house arrest. During the week, he attends boarding school. On the weekends, he's only allowed out of his apartment to to report to the local police station.
I mean, the house arrest might be seen as a punishment, but in his case, I think it's both a punishment and for his own defense, because those guys might have some buddies that will chase him and take some revenge for him on them.
Meanwhile, his erstwhile peers are in jail. Ivan's best friend in the gang was Eli Banayatov. He was one of the
You hear Banayatov again, Russian name.
instigators of the violence.
First, the police officer asked Ali, "Did you beat this person in a certain movie?" And Ali said no. And then he asked me, "Did Ali beat him?" And I had to say yes.
That must have been difficult in front of Ellie.
It was hard.
Israelis often debate ethnicity, genealogy, and the way a high Palestinian birth rate threatens Israel's Jewish identity.
Country, if they don't like us and they hate the Jews, I don't think they should. Because
I hear that's something that we have discussions about sometimes. Like people who don't like the people who live in a specific country, why should they come to that country if they don't like the people who live there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that debate is all too familiar in the United Kingdom, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
basically, that's my personal opinion.
Ivan Kuzmin says his gang days are over. Israel made it the first of her family to move to Israel, and she's horrified at the thought that Nazi
Большего абсурда придумать было невозможно.
Yeah, she speaks pure Russian here. This isn't Israeli, this is just Russian. So she's definitely a Russian Jew, you know, Russian-speaking Jews.
I mean, if you're a Sephardi Jew, I mean, you could always try getting, you know, I've already talked about this with you, I think, but you could try to get Portuguese or Spanish citizenship. But that's if you're a Sephardi. But I'm pretty sure most of these ones are, you know, from the Hasidic.
Yeah, but apparently Israel is pretty, you know, they let them in. So
yeah, but true. But I'm just simply saying, if you're going to try and switch citizenship, I would personally prefer to go for the Spanish or Portuguese route than the Israeli route, because frankly, I just think Europe is a nicer place to live.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, let's just finish the video. It's not that much, you know. We get another shot here at this North FC proper lad.
Dude, even comparing him to North FC would be an insult.
But yeah, this is basically it. Oh, hold on. They ask him a question.
Been properly explored. There's a sense that while the trial sparked a brief media blitz, the nation hasn't seriously examined the issues it raised.
Is there anything you just want to say?
Have we done enough to make them feel at home? Have we done enough to integrate them in our society? Has our educational system dealt with it properly? So I don't think that the answer is very simple.
I think that once everyone in this country understands that there is no place for some kinds of ethnical hatred and dislike and whatever not, there won't be such things like that anymore. I'm sure.
I'm sure Israel never did any of that.
Let's not go into that territory.
But look, let's go just for a second, because the first comment is pretty funny. Netanyahu on his day off. That's funny. I'm not gonna lie. That is pretty funny. Netanyahu would have them in the knee set.
That's basically the Israeli parliament.
Yeah, I know. Turn off the damn wall. Yeah, that's true. I was in the top 10 anime betrayals.
That's become a massive cliche these. Oh my god, yeah, okay, I get it now.
You never see these guys go after guys that are stronger, bigger than them cowards. Well, of course not. They want to beat up somebody who's smaller. They either choose to go many at one, and oh damn it, boomer audio levels. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's just watch a very quick video that has much better audio. It's this one. We was kings and shit, fam. Look at this masterpiece, man.
We were kings and shit, niggas. I swear to God, man. I'm my fucking family member. We from Egypt, nigga. I was an ancestor of Egypt, man. And you telling me that them Egyptians over there ain't black? Look at they skin, man. They black, man. And you know, man, like I'm saying, man, we trying to go space and shit, man. Like fuck, man. These goddamn white people, man. I ain't saying, man. These white people be ruining our lives, man. Shit, man. Look, let me tell you, man. Look. My grandmama, she part Egyptian, man. You telling me, look, King Tut top two. That's my great grandpa, man. And you telling me that these goddamn Egyptians ain't black? Shit, nigga. Look, man. Julius Caesar was black. I don't know why these history books be lying to you. Julius Caesar was black. He was white. The Romans were ruled by black people. Shit, man. I tell you what, I swear. Let all the black people in America go back to Africa. They gonna be wanting us back.
Why do I get the feeling that at some point I'm going to really regret being in one of these streams?
Don't worry, the Chinese. Nobody will go after the Chinese for this. As long as you call yourself the Chinese, like you're immune. You're immune from prosecution, man. You're seriously immune because the Chinese can do whatever the fuck they want in their country. Apparently, they can put posts on restaurants saying black people aren't allowed. They can put Muslims into almost concentration camps, and nobody gives a shit. Now in Europe, if 1/10 of something like that happens, it's immediately a fucking shit show. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. China is a very problematic country at the moment. Speaking of which, I was wondering if we could educate our audience on that video that contained Ataturk.
Oh, the long one, Jesus, man.
But not go 2 hours. I mean, there's a short section with Ataturk, and well, I was thinking we could piss off some people of a certain religious orientation.
What, Muslims? Because he destroyed, he stopped the Caliphate.
Very good man.
Yeah. But yeah, look, there's a moment in this that I like the most. It's like the King Tuta or something.
Let me tell you, man.
Hold on.
Look. My grandmama, she part Egyptian, man. You telling me, look, King Tut top two. That's my
King Tatu. Oh man.
Did you know we actually when he was excavated, the archaeologists, they lost his
King Tatu. Dude,
Yeah.
funny, there is no King Tatu. Like he probably wants
King Tut.
or Tut or Tutankhamun.
Well, it's Tutankhamun, but yeah.
Jesus. My pronunciation is almost as bad as his at this point because I'm confusing the Ukrainian pronunciation Tutankhamun with the English pronunciation.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but in the UK we pronounce it Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun or Tutankhamun. Nice. Gotcha.
Sorry, not the UK. In China, we pronounce it Tutankhamun.
Oh yeah, in China, that's it, man. Of course.
In China,
Chinese
yes.
and stuff. You're Chinese, of course. Why is Chinese want to piss people off? Matured. Oh, give peace a chance. Dude, don't mess with give peace a chance, man. He does some serious roasts. Like the other day, he roasted a guy that was that was trolling me on the video like crazy.
Reason I want to piss people off. Let's see. I'm a sad little man with little precarity in my life that needs to find something to amuse myself with, and this just happens to be one of those avenues. Why else do you think I'm in a live stream with a bunch of losers?
Whoa.
Except for the lovely host we have here.
Oh, no, much better. But yeah, I mean, if you're a small man with no ambitions, if you're a waste man, become a neo-Nazi. That's it, man.
Especially if you're ugly. Ugly people, front of the line.
Yep, that's it. Or if you're in Israel, then we get diamonds like this one about.
No, let's not go there. I don't want to be accused of anti-Semitism.
Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, look, it's funny because this picture here, the pharaoh has much lighter skin than the people that he's fighting. This is probably one of the Egyptian incursions into Nubia, because they were at war with the Nubians very often.
Yeah, they were. I forget the dynasty name, but south of the Nile, there were also some rather impressive pyramided structures.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
I mean, none of them were as big as the pyramids or as impressive. But
No. Yeah. Funnily enough, did you know civilization developed in places where warlords can develop a monopoly over the means of producing agriculture? So, for example, you've got the Mesopotamian valleys, which is a very fertile river valley surrounded by a desert. Same with the Nile, and same with the Incan valleys in Peru. In almost all cases, that's where civilization develops, where you can get a monopoly over the means of producing food.
Yeah. I see what you mean, man. I see what you mean. I mean, look, the first place where civilization is accepted to have started was the ancient Sumerians. Was between the rivers Tiger and Euphrates, right? That's
precisely.
First place where civilization has started. Also because the first writing was found there, and one of the first things was a religious text called Enuma Elish, or Enuma Elish, however you want to pronounce it, which is pretty interesting actually. Sargon of Akkad, right? He did a audiobook of Enuma Elish. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, man. If whoever in the audience hasn't watched it yet, the Enuma Elish audiobook, definitely check it out because it's a pretty interesting book, I would say. It's pretty short. It's nice and short. It's only like 30-40 minutes as far as I remember. So
I think, well, I mean, let's not get off track here. Let's not forget China is the superior civilization throughout the entirety of human history. I mean, we invented the compass, we invented the sailboats, we invented gunpowder.
The first, the last, and the only civilization. That's right. Julius Caesar is actually Chinese, man.
Well, obviously, he was proud Han Chinese bloke who conquered the Gaul.
Yeah, he conquered the uncivilized white man in Gaul, with his Chinese troops.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, how else could he have done it?
Oh, of course, obviously, man, obviously. But yeah, do you know the exact video about Ataturk that you wanted to show?
Oh yeah, it was by a guy. It was by a guy called Kraut, and it was like 3/4 of the way through. And
dude, I know. Obviously, I know Kraut, but I thought there was a specific video. Like,
oh no, I was just talking about like a small snippet from that video.
Hold on. Yeah, the meaning of Kraut is like a German slur, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a way to slag off the Germans. Like how we call the Frenchies frog. Yeah, Kraut is basically that, but for Germans.
Kraut. But what does Kraut actually mean? Like the word itself?
No idea. I think it's probably got something to do with sauerkraut.
3/4 of the video, you say? 3/4. Hold on. Oh, I can see here. I can see like some things about Ataturk. Hold on. The Young Turks. Yeah, the Armenian genocide. Yeah, spicy bullshit. Some spicy bullshit.
Very spicy.
Not entirely sure if I can actually show some of his video because it's very popular and it might, copyright strike me, but I guess we'll try. 3/4. I'm not sure if this is the part, but let's excuse me. Let's jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me add it to the thingy.
Policy measure to guarantee peace, but as we would see later, it didn't. What it did, however, do was change Anatolia, which for millennia had been a place of multiple cultures and faiths. The Christian population was reduced to a mere 2%, and the Anatolia Mustafa Kemal inherited was a by and large ethnically and religiously monomorphic society of Sunni Muslim Turks. Thousands of these Turks watched in late 1923 as the last British ships and troops left Istanbul. They all still wore the traditional Islamic headdress for men called the fez. Most of them probably had no idea that they were witnessing the dawn of a new age and the radical break with the past, unprecedented not just for Turkey, but in all of human history. On the 29th of October 1923, the Turkish Republic was declared after the Sultanate had been abolished in the previous year. The only thing that this republic would keep from the past was the flag.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, this was the chapter.
Dude, why is this bullshit loading so much? Holy fuck. Jesus.
The politician who needs help of religion to govern is nothing but an idiot.
Good
For
man.
more than 500 years, the rules and theories of ancient Arabic sheiks, Muhammad, and the absurd interpretations by generations of filthy and ignorant clergy in Turkey dictated all civil and criminal law. They dictated the state from the constitution, the smallest of activities and gestures of citizens, their diet, the hours of rest and labor, the choice of clothing, the curriculum in schools, our manners and habits, and even our most intimate thoughts. Islam is a rotting corpse that is poisoning all of our lives. There are many different nations, but there is only one civilization. A prerequisite for the progress within a nation is to be a part of that civilization.
That's a good one.
There are no differences between the Orient and the Occident. There is only a difference between backwardsness and modernity.
The fez was a traditional Islamic headdress worn by men across the Islamic world. It originated in North Africa, and throughout the 17th and 18th century, it became increasingly widespread throughout the Islamic world. From Indonesia to Morocco, devout Muslim men would wear it, just as devout Muslim women would wear the veil. It became the official headgear of the Ottoman army uniform, and even non-Muslims who resided within the Ottoman Empire and Muslims who lived outside of the Ottoman Empire would wear it. It signified loyalty to the Caliph, the Islamic social order, the Ummah, and the Caliph's authority over the Islamic world. You can see the fez on the heads of the cheering crowds as the Turkish Republic is founded in 1923. At that time, 80% of that republic's population lived in the countryside. 90% could neither read nor write. Ideas such as nationalism, republicanism, liberalism, progress, modernity, science, secularism were something most people had never even heard of. A national identity didn't exist, and most group identities were restricted to clans, religious groups, and family structures within rural villages. This was not a population that could carry and advance a revolution.
Oh, I don't like that symbol, though. I did not like the symbol.
I concur with you. I mean, yeah, it's very commie, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very, very commie.
Especially since they wouldn't even understand what a revolution was or what they were doing it for, which consequently would shape what Ataturk's revolution would be, one dictated from the top to bottom, and not the other way around as revolutions usually go. This in return would leave behind a legacy of governance enforced autocratically from top to bottom, no matter what the wider rabble may think of it. Within a period of 14 years, the world of the average Turk was turned completely on its head. On the 3rd of March 1924, Mustafa Kemal formally abolished the Caliphate. This might seem like nothing to you from an outsider's perspective.
I was just cheering because, you know, this. I just view this as a good moment in human history.
That was a yay. I thought that was a wait.
Well, I mean, it was a yay. Yay.
Got it.
The Sultan and the Caliph were two separate institutions. The Sultanate had been abolished 2 years before with the founding of the Republic, but the Caliphate had still existed. There were many sultans throughout the Islamic world throughout its history, but there could only ever be one Caliph. The Caliph was not a pope of the Islamic world, but considered to be the spiritual descendant of Muhammad and to represent his authority as a religious authority to all Muslims. The Caliphate had existed since Islam itself existed. The title had gone from the Umayyads to the Abbasids to the Ottomans, and was seen as an integral part of the Islamic faith and the understanding of the Ummah as a community of Muslims in the world under a leader. And with one stroke of a pen and the presidential proclamation, Mustafa Kemal abolished it. Gone was a central element of the Islamic world, an authority to all Muslims and their understanding of themselves as a group identity and part of a community that had existed for over 1,000 years. The consequences of this decision were monumental. Mustafa Kemal had promised the Kurds to protect the Caliphate in the War of Independence, which resulted in the first split between the Kurds and the Turks. But the consequences were even larger beyond the Turkish Republic. It completely shattered a key element in how many people in the Muslim world saw and understood themselves. What are we now? Who are we? What is our tribe? Our identity? Our community? Are we still Muslims? Can Islam persist without the Caliphate? Are we nationalities? Are we Asians? Are we Africans? Are we Arabs? Are we Iranian? Are we races? Are we comrades? Are we a community? Can Jews or Christians be part of our community? Can we live with Hindus? Are we kings? Are we republicans? Are we back in the 6th century? What? Where? Who? How? Any, if not most.
Nice, hey man, don't laugh. It's a nice beheading of peace, bro. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Just the Saudi Arabia thing. It just seems so fitting.
Most of the problems throughout the Islamic countries in identity, politics, and nationality can be traced back to this fateful moment. From Gamal Abdel Nasser's proclamations of Arab nationalism, to Iran's Shah proclaiming himself to be a living god, to Jinnah founding a separate Muslim nation in India, to anti-Semitic pogroms in Iraq and Morocco, to the Saudis dragging their society back into the late Iron Age. On the 4th of April 1996, Muhammad Omar founded the Taliban. He broke open...
Late Iron Age. He was pretty nice to them, though. Not the early Iron Age, the late Iron Age. You know?
I think we get the general gist of it. Long story short, the guy fucking hated Muslims.
I mean, I don't think he really like hated them, but he hated religion itself. Like,
well, yeah, the institutions of the religion.
Secular. Yeah, exactly. Very secular. Now, look, I think he has a point when he says that the leader that can't govern without a religion is an idiot. But let's face it, like, you'll be hard pressed to find a leader that can govern without lots of tools.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I mean, one of the central tenets of Irish independence was the fact that the Irish thought of themselves as separate as a consequence of their own religion, which was Catholicism, and the United Kingdom, which is primarily Protestant. But in this contemporary day and age, it doesn't really cross people's minds, unless, of course, you live in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, let's just watch it a little bit longer, and then we.
Yeah. I think the audience is getting bored, so I think we need to take that into consideration.
Of the cloak.
We need to do a little clown dance to entertain the audience. Is that it? I'm kidding. Let's just watch for a few more seconds.
Inside the Shrine of the Cloak in Kandahar, Afghanistan, where Muhammad's cloak had been kept for centuries, and wrapped himself in it, proclaimed before his followers that he was the legitimate representative of Muhammad, the Caliph of all Muslims, leader of the new Caliphate, and that the false gods of nationalism, democracy, and communism had failed. Well,
communism definitely failed and keeps failing, but can't say the same about the other ones.
Bin Laden proclaimed his war to restore the Caliphate to the black flags recently flying over Iraq and Syria. It is still too early to say what the full consequences of Mustafa Kemal's decision were when he abolished an institution that he thought of as too backwards to be reformed and therefore had to be destroyed. But make no mistake about the tremendous impact that this decision had throughout the world. But for Mustafa Kemal, that decision was just the starting shot. He followed it up by banning the fez, turbans, niqab, and burqa and the criminal penalty. The hijab was banned in public spaces such as schools and government buildings, and women who throughout most of the history of the Islamic world had been silent figures forced into the background by religion were told to come forward and be public beings and figures. This was followed by the closing of all Islamic schools. Keep in mind that at the time, all schools were Islamic schools, and the Sunni clergy held a monopoly on education. This was now over. New schools were opened. The curriculum was entirely secular. Religion was scrapped entirely out of education, and education was compulsory, and far more radical. It was also compulsory for girls, who had previously, due to Islamic customs, been denied any and all education. This was followed by all women being granted and guaranteed legal equality before the law. And that was followed by the abolition of the Islamic calendar. It was no longer the year 1344, but the year 1925, as it was throughout the rest of the non-Muslim world. Next, he abolished Sharia law in its totality in each and every corner of the legal code, be it civil or criminal law. No more special taxes for non-Muslims, no more restrictions of freedoms, no more prohibition of alcohol, no more punishments for apostasy or
I'm going to have to add the abolishment of the prohibition of alcohol. Very good move. Very good.
Out of all of the moves that, is shown on screen right now, that's probably the least good move. But
Either that or I've got a drinking problem.
Maybe I'm biased because there's a drinking problem in Ukraine. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't think you should prohibit it, but I don't think you should make it.
I get the general idea. I was just being a bit, bit silly.
I know. I know. It's it is a very important thing, man. To drink always.
Let us continue.
Let's go.
Freedom of consciousness, making it possible for Muslims to convert to other faiths, or even openly leave their faith and be open atheists. Marriages between faiths and lack of faiths were now legal without a spouse being forced to convert, as it would have been under Sharia. Mixed faith couples could now raise children together, which was forbidden under Sharia. The Islamic courts, Sharia justices, and the Sheikh al-Islam, the highest religious legal authority in the land, were all abolished. He introduced a civil code of criminal and civil laws, shaped after examples set in Europe and North America, the first and so far only majority Muslim country to ever do so. Next, he banned the call to prayer from minarets at mosques. Next, all imams became state bureaucrats on government payroll, under control by a secular government institution. What could and could not be preached during religious sermons had to be approved by the state.
There we go. That is a very important detail. What can and cannot be preached will be dictated by the state that's separate from a specific religion. It's not the religion that dictates what's acceptable or not. It's the state that dictates what the religion can preach as acceptable and what the religion cannot preach as acceptable.
Turkish secularism was quite different because it kind of followed, I think the video is going to cover it a bit later, but it followed more along the lines of what the French idea of secularism is, where the state basically forces you not to be religious as opposed to having freedom of religion, because under common law in, say, the UK and the United States, there's freedom of religion, whereas in France and Turkey, it's freedom from religion, which is, something quite different.
I think an oopsie just happened. An oopsie just happened. You see the comments that I'm showing.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm so sorry, dude. I passed out and I did not wake up.
That's okay, bro. That's okay. I stopped.
This is why there's two of us. This is the reason.
If I may ask, what do you think of China?
What do I think of China?
Yeah, great country, right?
It's the. I don't want to get banned from YouTube, so yeah, it's the most greatest place that has ever existed ever.
Good man, very good man.
Don't ban our YouTube channel.
Banks, I think we're a bit too late for that. Like, I shared a video of all the dog meat restaurants in China on our channel.
Have you guys been going balls deep into China then?
Well, China is actually, contrary to popular belief, it's a free and loving country. country with lots of liberal values. It's just that Western dogs just don't quite understand it.
Exactly. Please don't ban us, YouTube, and let us be monetized.
Moolah is not my primary concern.
Western imperialist dogs. There's Western capitalist dogs who don't understand. If they only knew that tanks definitely help stop protesters.
Well, did I say dogs? I meant people.
Yeah, pigs. I mean people.
Oh man.
So I'm sorry, guys. I say I am completely off. I say I'm being caught off guard a little bit. What was the general gist of the conversation? You put neo-Nazis in Israel. That's the subject. You really don't want this channel to grow, do you?
It's an interesting topic, but I was a bit surprised myself that such a thing exists.
Yeah, do neo-Nazis exist in Israel?
They do, apparently. They do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's surprising to quite a degree.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was showing a video of a few dudes that went to Israel from one of them from Ukraine, some others from Russia, and some of them became neo-Nazis. Hold on.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, of all places, you wouldn't think it would happen there.
Like the video is called Israel's Unbelievable Neo-Nazis. And it's actually a thing, man. There was a problem with neo-Nazis, like a small scale problem, I think. It was just a few bully groups. I shared the link in the comments, like in the.
Oh yeah, I can see.
I'm just saying, in China, we would never tolerate this kind of behavior. We would never tolerate them.
That's true. That is true. You would suppress this very quickly.
I mean, it's very easy in China. No trial, just prison or death. One of the two.
Simple.
I mean, they would never tolerate it in China unless those guys would beat up and bully people who are against the Chinese government. Then it's fine. It's fine. If they do it in the name of the government, it's good.
No, not in the name of the government. It's called the People's Republic of China. We work for the people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, in the name of the people, of course. If they beat up the people in the name of the people, it's okay.
Not the government. I mean, it's all about the people.
Yeah, but sometimes like some of the fascists say, people just don't know what's good for them. Sometimes the government has to tell you what is good for you.
Exactly. I mean, this is what we are there for. We are there because people don't know what they want. We have to tell them what they want.
Absolutely. I mean, where would these people be if the government wasn't there to sort of correct? It's like a parent, like your mom and dad. They tell you what to do, where to go, what to eat.
Exactly. We do it in the name of what is best for people because they don't know what is best for themselves.
That's how I mean,
we make sure that organs get placed in the correct people.
Exactly. Some people just don't deserve the organs that they have.
Bro, some people don't know what to do with those organs, man. It's like you gotta give better use to them, man.
Exactly. I mean, if you're not really, using your liver and your kidneys the way it's supposed to be, like, over drinking and stuff, then, you're not really pushing your boundaries. You might as well give your organs up to someone who's really going to put those livers and kidneys to the test.
Well, I mean, we get them from people who have died. How do I put this? It goes to the correct people, okay? It goes to the correct people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes people who haven't really died, but will eventually.
No, they dead. They definitely dead.
By the time you take the organs, oh, definitely.
No. Even before they dead.
Do they start off dead or do they end up dead?
I mean, they don't really have a life anymore. because they're in a look. It doesn't matter about those details. Don't particularly matter. What matters is they don't really have a life anymore.
That's the point. That is truly, it's the benevolence that I can't what's it called, that I can't believe. It's just so much benevolence.
Plus, trying to make your iPhone. Why'd you have those people? It's so inconsiderate the way you're talking about them. Those people who gave their organs also made your iPhone, and
there you go.
Here you are sliding them off.
No. I'm just saying that some of them just didn't deserve those organs.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
No, I'm not talking about the ones who get it afterwards. I'm talking about the ones who had it and then had them taken out. They just clearly didn't need them. They were just useless. But that's. I've also heard. Which one is that religious faith that keeps they keep themselves very healthy?
Oh, I forget what it's called.
Falun Gong.
Falun Gong. Yeah, that's it.
Falun Gong. Yeah. Those guys, they clearly are ripe. They're like fruits that ripen, and then you can harvest the fruit.
Yeah.
They're like trees that give fruit, and the fruits happen to be kidneys and livers and hearts and.
In all seriousness, it is kind of messed up what they are doing.
Of course it is. It's beyond
kind
of messed up. No, really more than kind of.
Well,
actually,
like the most messed up thing since 1940s Europe.
Was they doing that in 1940s Europe?
Well, they were doing something similar. Apparently, they were making bones out of soap out of the bones of the body. It's really
are you talking about the 1940s, like Germany, Europe? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, that was more messed up.
No. This is like the same magnitude of how messed up it is in China. Like the same. Yeah.
They're just not. They're just doing it to their own people rather than other people.
Well, they don't consider them their own people.
Really?
Yo, guys.
They're considered an ethnic minority called what do we call them? Pavlov, help me out here. What do you call that ethnic group in Xinjiang province?
Not the
Uyghurs.
Uyghurs. Yeah. But I think Banksy was talking about Falun Gong. You know, the religion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They get harvested too.
Yeah, but they're Han Chinese, aren't they?
Yeah. Actually, I had a friend of mine actually when I was at university. I had an ethnically Chinese Malaysian friend, and he told me that apparently whenever they mainland Chinese students see a Falun Gong practitioner during their studies at university, they avoid them at all costs because apparently there's a very high likelihood that amongst those mainland Chinese students, there's going to be a spy, an informant for the Chinese Communist Party there. And if they're caught, discussing with the Falun Gong practitioner, they themselves could potentially have their organs harvested.
So they could put themselves on a list.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, just associating with one of those guys.
Yeah,
these Falun Gong guys are like hotcakes.
Yeah,
they are because they live a very healthy lifestyle. So they were very sought for by the Chinese government because they live very healthy lifestyle, and thus they have very healthy organs. You know what I mean?
So really, the best way to live in China is just eat, drink, and smoke as often as possible.
If you can. That's the catch, man. If you can, you probably can't do that because there's been a famine not so long ago in China because of some bad harvests and shit. You know,
I think that's North Korea, Pavlov.
No, in China, there's actually been some bad harvests. And people hold on, in restaurants. You guys haven't heard of this? In restaurants, they had the empty plate policy. People would order, an extra plate. They would pay for it, but it would be empty. You know what I mean? So they would pay more for less food. Or no, wait, not even that. Like they would pay for. I'm lying. Not like that. Not exactly like that. I slightly changed it. Basically, they would pay for all the people that were eating with them, but for one of the people, the plate would be empty. So they would have to share around so the food would be enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's just do this real quick, just to because I found this thing, and we'll look for the empty plate policy very soon, because it happened not so long ago. It wasn't like Mao's time or whatever. It was like months ago that it happened. A bunch of months. Yeah, man. Hold on, let's just see this real quick.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. When you listen, he's saying this because he want to know whether he should back you with these scriptures or should he be wrong with that. You should hate black people. So what's the point? I'm gonna tell you the problem. Listen, man. I'm gonna tell you the problem. What's the point? I'm gonna you guys. Listen. If you listen, you can get an answer. Ain't no way in the Bible you what. I'm gonna tell you what. Yes, ain't no way in the Bible we're gonna get another fellas. We are not African. You will laugh. You got black people out here claiming to be African, man. We are not African. We two separate people. The Africans are a disgusting people, man. They got a culture of cutting themselves, stuffing plates in their lips, man. The Africans are a disgusting people. And furthermore, the Lord said to not take on the customs of these heathens, man. But yet you got black people claiming to be African. You got black people saying they African American. How the hell are you African American? You let the Africans be African, man. You let the Africans be African. But yet you black people, you want to take on the culture of another nation so bad, man. You want to be African now. Why I can't take it? You African. Hold on. Hold on, one at a time.
We wasn't Africans, we was Jews and shit.
I see.
I feel stupider just from watching that video.
I know.
I lost several IQ points myself. I don't even know the name of my parents anymore.
Can we play the Chinese national anthem, please?
No, man.
Dear God. Can this show get any?
Look at this. China food crisis. China start new policy for food operation, empty plate, and amid major import of grain. Gravitas. Is China running out of food? You see, 3 months ago, China clean plate campaign. Xi Jinping government takes creative measures to reduce food wastage. Chinese workers take empty plate challenge at the birthday party. Mission clean plate. Xi Jinping sounds very much like Maduro's eat rabbits call. It does. China's clean plate campaign. Let's see the one with most views. Probably this one. Yeah. Oh wait, I probably can't show this. Shit.
Well,
have you actually monetized this channel?
No. But the thing is,
man.
YouTube's they will probably claim it as a
Okay, I get it. YouTube is becoming quite
yeah.
Oh, I like this.
Okay, guys,
man.
look.
2 p.m. on the 14th of December. I'm going to be.
This is dude. Get ad blockers.
It's called.
The word of the day is ad blocker.
Indeed.
No, hold on.
Every man and woman in this country can take back control of their own money, take back control of their own financial destiny. 2 p.m. the 14th of December. I'll see you there.
Okay,
that's literally on Monday.
That probably was the only ad that I would ever want to see. Like
14th of December is Monday, though.
Guys,
some of us have jobs.
But yeah, look. If anybody in the audience and you guys, if you haven't heard about China Uncensored, go there. Subscribe. By the way, stupid me didn't subscribe with this channel. Subscribe. Check it out.
It's really good.
It's
or I could recommend for those of you in the audience who have more than 80 IQ points, I would recommend reading a really good book called China's Stealth War, written by former B-2 bomber pilot Robert Spalding. Seriously good guy.
China Stealth War?
Stealth War. Well, I mean, it was written by a former US Air Force pilot who piloted, those B-2 bombers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he once piloted those, but he's since become an expert on China, and he's written a book called The Stealth War.
Yeah, I can see it.
Actually looking it up.
There's even an audiobook on Audible.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it.
You can even listen to it if you can't be asked to read it.
Yep. For those of you who
I
have
wonder.
less than
I
80
wonder
IQ
where
points,
he. I wonder where he's speaking about the. Oh, hold on. I wonder where he's speaking about the flood that caused food shortage crisis in China. Because again, it didn't happen so long ago. It happened like a short while ago. Hold on.
the Global
Jesus.
Times, my favorite source of media.
Yeah, I know, right?
Global Times.
Yeah, it's full of truth and doesn't have any propaganda whatsoever.
Are we still in the sarcastic zone here, or is
There
this
we
real?
go. There we go. There we
Come
go.
on, you should be able to figure it out.
Hagupit made landfall at Licheng City in eastern China's Zhejiang province around.
Jesus Christ, what is?
Ad blocker.
Ad block, you fucking bitch.
I can't have ad blocker on the fucking incognito window, man. I think.
On August 4th, many roads were sealed off.
Hold
Amid
on,
the
what
heavy rain.
What the fuck is this?
No, you're right. You can't. All the
Doesn't show. It
plugins
doesn't
go
show.
away.
It doesn't show.
All
Okay,
the
hold on.
extensions go away.
Fucking China uncensored, man. Like, I'm disappointed. I didn't think they would show so many ads in their videos. Anyway,
Well,
let's
they've
just.
got to make money too.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Otherwise, they would have to go
Probably.
back to that empty plate issue again.
True. I mean, YouTube 100% they demonetized them. There's no question about that. They fucking demonetized this shit. But yeah, let's just see real quick about this specific situation, because this is important. And look at that bullshit. Look at that bullshit.
Yellow River in northern China. That's on top of the recent typhoon.
Typhoon Hagupit made landfall at Licheng City in East China's Zhejiang province around 3:30 a.m. on August 4th. Many roads were sealed off. Amid the heavy rains and wind, trees were toppled, billboards fell down, and cars were smashed by falling objects. Many streets were submerged in water. Public transportation has been suspended in several cities.
The flooding has a lot of people concerned about China's food supply. The area along the Yangtze River accounts for 70% of the country's rice production. China relies heavily on imported food, but tense relations between China and much of the Western world and the coronavirus pandemic may make importing a lot of food trickier in the future. Don't worry, Chinese communist officials have a solution. Chinese Vice Premier Hu
Eat less. That's their solution.
told the provinces to make sure crop yields won't be reduced this year. And he said governors would be punished if they
make sure. Oh my god, this is fucking just like the Soviet Union, man. This is 101 Soviet Union. Oh, everything has been flooded. You got no crop production. Make sure that there is production. How? Make sure that there is production.
Yeah, but why don't they just purchase things that they need? I mean, China is incredibly rich. They could just buy the.
Everybody hates them because people hate their guts, man. They fuck their relations with every single country in
To
the
be
world.
fair, I mean, the UK actually found itself in a similar situation in the 1800s with Ireland. I mean, we were once the wealthiest. Oh, sorry, I meant China. We were once the wealthiest country in the world in the 1800s, and instead of importing more food for the Irish, we just simply said, "Nah, they can handle it."
Wow.
Jesus.
You ever heard of the Irish potato famine?
That's how it all came about.
Well, I mean, it's complicated, but let's just say we treated the Irish a lot worse than the Soviet Union treated its vassal states.
I don't think you did. I do not think you did.
Dude, Ireland's population still hasn't recovered since the 1800s. We fucking decimated.
Yeah, bro, listen to this for a second. I don't think British soldiers invaded and surrounded Irish towns and Irish villages and Irish cities and removed all the food and just simply kept the places surrounded until they stopped to that. I do not think shit like that happened in Ireland, man.
During the Cromwell period, it kind of did.
What, they surrounded the places and just simply starved them purposefully to death? If you get out of the settlement, we shoot you?
More or less.
I don't believe you, man. I do not believe you.
Look, Britain is a civilized country today, but back then, I mean, we've always made a special exception for the Irish. Why do you think they hate us still?
Well, there's many reasons. I know that the potato famine is one of them, but I do not think the same thing happened. Look, the British simply didn't have the means, the army, the manpower to surround all the specific places and fucking let them starve to death and confiscating all the food from them. They simply did not have that. The Soviet Union did have those means, and they did do it in Ukraine.
Yeah, but we didn't need an army to do it. We just did it anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in the Soviets, they surrounded towns, villages, and some cities in eastern Ukraine. They removed all the food from them, and they let them starve. And if anybody would leave the town to go to another one to get some food or whatever, they would shoot them. You know what I mean? The British
Okay. That is slightly worse. Instead, we just allowed the Irish to migrate or enslave them. Yeah.
Well, look, were the Irish prohibited from fleeing Ireland during the potato famine?
No, they weren't. But it's
already better. You see what I mean? It's already better. I know it's like comparing two very bad things, but it's much better. I would much rather be in Ireland suffering from the potato famine, because there would be a chance for me to run away into France, into, I don't know, Scotland, into wherever. You know what I mean? In Ukraine, there was no chance. You're surrounded. Starve to death. That's all the choice you have. Or get shot, maybe, if you leave the town. Anyway, let's see this a little bit more, because I think this will be informative for the audience here about the current state in China.
They failed to uphold the promise, including with dismissals. Why? That's basically what they did back in the 1950s. Local officials had to make sure production met Central Party quotas, so they just made up the numbers. And that led to the Great Famine that killed tens of millions of people. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to have everything work out fine. But if telling government officials lie about crop yields doesn't fix the problem, Chinese leader Xi Jinping has another solution. Operation Empty Plate. I did not make that up. This week, Xi Jinping made he called on the nation to end food waste. And in the tradition of all Communist Party top-down initiatives, it's up to the local authorities to implement Operation Empty Plate, which means get ready for overzealous performative micromanaging to impress the boss. In Chongqing, officials issued a statement promising to implement Xi's guidance, setting up LED screens with prompts to establish a frugal consumption reminder system, as well as measures to supervise consumers to eat frugally. How will they supervise whether people are eating frugally?
Yeah, kids, you better eat all the food on the plate, or else daddy goes to gulag, you know?
Well, the city of Wuhan has a great idea. The Wuhan Catering Industry Association called on restaurants in the city to issue a system called N-1 ordering, whereby a group must order one dish fewer than the number of diners. Yeah, that makes sense. The government should definitely force restaurants to force people to limit how much food they can eat. So if there are 4 people in your group, you can only order 3 dishes. If there are 2 people, you can only order 1 dish. And if you're by yourself, you can cry into your empty.
That's what I was thinking, honestly. If it's 2 people, you really have to only order 1 dish, and if you're by yourself, you cannot order it.
Since COVID, it actually doesn't seem that stupid anymore, because in the UK, we've made some pretty draconian policies with regard to pubs in the last few months, and China doesn't seem very stupid by comparison anymore.
I mean, look, it's the excuse that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's true, but the excuse in the UK is also dumb, if you think about it. I mean, consider this. You're only allowed to drink in the UK now if you order a meal. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, now they made Scotch eggs an essential meal. So
No. Instead, they just order the meal. They don't eat the meal, and they just drink the drink.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, I have noticed, and but that just doesn't that just make food wastage even more?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, governments always make stupid policies, but yeah, I suppose communist governments magnify that stupidity.
Oh yeah. Multiply that stupidity.
It is true. I would second that.
Sounds like Operation Empty Plate is going to be a huge success. But there are far bigger problems facing China than a potential shortage of food. There could also be a potential shortage of iPhone production. The owner of Foxconn says China can no longer be the world's factory. What would Steve Jobs do? In other news, a fourth Canadian citizen has been sentenced to death in China. This is on top of Michael Spavor, who have been in various forms of detention for a year and a half. It's all part of China's hostage diplomacy. These are political arrests and death sentences in response to the arrest of Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou in Canada. If you'd like to learn more about how China's hostage diplomacy puts foreigners at risk in China, check out our latest China Unscripted podcast with Peter Dahling, who was detained and forced to confess on Chinese state-run television. I'll put a link below. A new report by the National Counterintelligence and Security Center looks at how hostile foreign countries view the upcoming U.S. election. According to the report, China and Iran are Team Biden. Russia is Team Trump. Guess which one of those the media is focusing on? What kind of interference does China have to do to get some respect around here? It's like China is the middle child of foreign election interference. Pay attention.
Okay, that's it. That's it for this video. The ads have made...
Kill it.
Yeah, Robert Spalding actually touches on this topic in his book, especially with regard to how financially intertwined the Biden family is with the Chinese Communist Party. Hence the reason why I didn't want Biden to win, as much of a cunt Mr. Trump is.
That makes sense. I'm quite intrigued though how Team Biden has got Trump and Iran. Sorry, China and Iran on its side.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to choose a puppet, I'd choose the Russians. Sorry, Pav. I mean, actually, no, Pavlo, what would you choose? A Russian puppet or a Chinese puppet?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, hypothetically, let's say Mr. Trump was
the
a Russian
thing is,
puppet.
Trump, but he's not a Russian puppet. That's the difference.
If he was a Russian puppet.
He was a Russian puppet.
Yeah, what would you pick? The Chinese puppet or the Russian puppet?
Look, man, if Trump was a Russian puppet, then Trump would act differently than what he's acting now. Then he wouldn't be Trump. It's as simple as that.
Pavlov, it's a hypothetical question.
Bro, the Chinese, look, I'll tell you why it doesn't work exactly like that. It's like you telling me, okay, imagine that red was blue. If red was blue, wouldn't it not be blue?
Oh, fuck off. You're just trying to avoid the question.
No, bro, if red is blue, it's no longer red. You know what I mean? If Trump is a Russian puppet, he's no longer Trump.
It's you're taking it too seriously. It's meant to be a fun question.
Sure. Anyway, I guess I would choose the Russian puppet because Russia is like no power at all, and China can literally take over the U.S. in like that if they get a puppet high up there in the government. Like people have no idea what kind of damage China can do if they get some serious like officials inside of the U.S. government.
Well, they do now.
Well, yeah, if Biden really becomes president, like with no opposition, that's it. Game over, man. China has won. China has indeed taken over the world, and there is not a single entity that can oppose them.
Well, fortunately, the U.S. military is still the most advanced military force in human history.
No longer fortunately, man, because the Russian president will be a Chinese shill.
The
Russian,
the American president.
the American, yeah, excuse me, my bad. The American president will be a Chinese shill. So all the American military will be responsible to a Chinese shill. So it doesn't matter how much power America has, because all that power will be Chinese power at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Inadvertently. But the thing is, this is something that I don't I find really hard to equate. Is if China has this kind of power and influence potentially, how is it that they have one plate extra policy and crazy shit like this? I mean, you would think they would have the power and influence to be able to supply their people with food. I mean, Britain doesn't even have close to the kind of power and influence that China has globally, and yet their people are not starving. In fact,
we haven't lost that much power.
It's a very easy question to answer. I'm actually honestly a bit surprised that you would ask that question, because it's a answer. Look, basically, it's the same situation as the Soviet Union. How the bloody hell did the Soviet Union manage to keep up in an arms race, in a nukes race, and in a race to the space with the US, who had a GDP on a whole new level, on a whole different level? Like, it has way more wealth, more everything, literally, more trade, more everything than the USSR. How the fuck did the USSR compete? Well, because their people lived like shit. The USA actually has to be responsible for their people. When their people get hurt, when their people get shit, when there's something bad that happens in their country, they actually need to waste money, waste resources, waste time dealing with it.
Well, the irony is, it's not really a waste.
Doesn't need to do shit. They don't need to do that. All of their influence, all of their military strength is on a slave labor. You know what I mean? So they don't need to do anything for their people. That's the answer.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, all that investment into the population the US made, it wasn't really a waste. At the end of the day, they increased their human capital so much to the degree that despite the fact that the US had, well, I think at the time it was a smaller population and less economic capacity, they still developed a much more technologically advanced society and a more economically healthy society as a consequence.
No, but hold on, they never had less economic capacity. They always
do. They do. The US has less.
No, look. If you mean with natural
capacity, not actual. I mean, there's capacity, and there's the degree to which you exploit the resources.
Okay, hold on a second. Are you counting just pure natural resources as economic capacity? Because I would not qualify it like that.
Well, in economics, there's 4 factors of production, which is what we call basically land, labor, capital, and enterprise. And, the Soviet Union, as you know, they had more labor, they had more land, they had less enterprise, and they certainly had more capacity for capital. But the thing is, they didn't exploit it as efficiently as the United States due to their due to the institutional structure that communism often dictates.
Yeah, but hold on, Chinese. You're missing a very important point, which is the USSR only traded with itself.
Exactly.
With anybody else.
They were insular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as a result, in economics, we call this the law of comparative advantages, where depending on your geography or whatever production factors you have, you know what? I'm not going to go into it. But long story short, the USSR had more economic capacity, but
I don't agree with that. No, I still don't agree with that, man.
Well, it's factually true one way or the other, but they were less capable of exploiting that economic capacity than the United States.
Look, you're reducing economic capacity to a few factors. That's fine. It's also part of economic capacity. You're right. But look, what does it matter if the USSR has lots of natural resources? If all the infrastructure to get those natural resources is fucked up because they
exactly.
If the people, the brains have been drained because lots of people fled the country. If
my point.
No allies, they can't trade with anyone. So where's the capacity at that point?
Well, I mean, my point is they had a lot more potential economic. Let's say institutionally they were the same as the United States, the USSR, in which case it would be called something different from the USSR. They would, hypothetically, in that scenario, have a much larger economy than the United States. My point is the United States had less economic capacity, but still managed to produce a more prosperous society. Which gets onto my point. I mean, as a consequence of that, the United States managed to develop the most technologically, at least from a military standpoint, advanced society on the planet. The US was quite literally able to. Have you ever heard of the SR-71?
No, is it a plane?
Yeah, you should know me by now. It's a
Well,
spy
that's surprising.
plane that flies at approximately 70,000 feet and can fly 3.3 times the speed of sound. And, as a result of the US being able to develop this, they were able to fly over the USSR without the Russians not being able to do anything about it. So as a result, they could take photographs anywhere the fuck they wanted over Russia or any other part of the Soviet Union. And the Russians did not have the technology necessary to intercept them.
Just a moment, but who have first helped the USSR to develop all that industry? May you answer this question, because I know who, but
I don't understand how that's relevant to.
It is because without the US help, they wouldn't be able to develop it so quickly. Of course, it was under Stalin's rule.
Yeah,
but the way the system have stiffened the development and free thinking have made them stagnant, and despite all of those resources, as you said, and all of the land. But by the way, the population wasn't that much bigger than the US.
Yeah, true.
So they weren't that much able. And this land mostly was arid ice desert, if not a very hot desert in the Central Asia. So it wasn't that good for agriculture either.
Look,
capacity.
There's a difference between economic capacity and the degree to which you exploit resources. Okay, my point is, very simply put, the USSR had greater economic capacity, but they just simply were less competent at exploiting their economic capacity compared to, say, Europe and the United States. I mean, the same could be said of Switzerland. It's a desolate hellhole with no resources whatsoever, yet they managed to exploit the economic capacity of their very tiny population to a magnitude that it would be unheard of compared to countries with much greater economic capacity, say India, which has a huge population, abundant natural resources, but is incredibly poor by comparison.
The thing is, I just wanted to bring this back to the Chinese, and we're talking literally months ago that they were applying this one plate whatever policy. You would have thought they would have learned from all of this to not have these issues now. I mean, they have the greater sort of hindsight than all of these other nations. So how is it that they're still caught up in this situation where they have to force their people to eat less because they don't have grain? It just seems unfathomable.
Think about it this way. I just want to give a shout out to Idaco Gold. Yes, Mac Free, and I love the SR-71 too. Fantastic plane. But yeah, think about it this way. Back to China. You're an official of the Chinese Communist Party, okay? And your primary priority is to ensure you don't get purged, get an excuse to be purged. You do that by essentially ensuring that you just make up the numbers and don't do anything about it, because if you did something about it, you could make another official look bad, which can also get you purged.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of this was just, they're all scared shitless of getting basically killed because they screwed up.
It's like Western-style political careerism, but with death involved.
with a gun.
Yes,
they don't just kill your career; they kill you.
Not to mention that many of them are moral sluts, to be honest. Like Xi Jinping is the same party that he killed his family. He have became a member of. He didn't mind it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end, Xi Jinping himself was a victim of the Cultural Revolution. I mean, I think his entire family got purged. He was sent to the countryside, became a peasant, and it's actually, I'm not going to lie, it's quite an admirable story. He worked his way up the party ladder slowly but surely, and eventually made his way to become, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party. Ironically enough,
and he became the same as the people he probably maybe once hated unless he always was a piece of shit like he is today.
It's like the story of Darth Vader, I suppose.
It's a hero's journey. Are we talking about here?
no, it's like one of those stories where
Winnie the Pooh and his rambly and his tumbly.
Yeah. What's that old saying? If you live long enough, you either live long enough to become a monster or live short enough to become a hero. I forget what that.
No, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, that's it. And Xi Jinping is the latter.
He should have died when he was younger, then, as he was making his way up.
No comments.
And we have proven also another thing, that certain people don't deserve empathy.
I'm just still flabbergasted that in this modern age China could still have like any country. I mean, I understand it. There are countries like in Iran, because of the sanctions. Yeah, they are having huge problems with food, with all sorts of things. People are really, really suffering. But that's because they're on the heavy sanctions, and Iran is a relatively not, I wouldn't say poor, but certainly in a very helpless position right now. They've got very few nations that are favorable to them, but China isn't in that position. China has got, you might say that there aren't many people that like them, but there are many people, countries and stuff that still support them. There are European nations that support them. You look at what sort of power and influence they've established in Italy, in various other European countries, in Australia.
Italy is just erratic. Italy's just erratic, and the Australians are actually starting to really dislike their influence also at this point.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Justin Trudeau have invited the Chinese troops to Canada to train there.
Really? I don't believe that.
That's crazy. But that's what I mean.
At least for sure, he have suggested something like that, and he wants to send his own to be trained in China. I mean, what the Chinese can train them with? I mean, and to what? To be indoctrinated communists?
Hold on. I will use a quote from Justin Trudeau himself. If you kill your enemies, they win. And thus, the next logical step is, if you let your enemies kill you, you win. So he's planning for victory. He's planning for victory, guys.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, if being cut is for victory to him, then I agree.
No, seriously, did he actually say that?
Comment right now. I'm gonna look for that comment right now.
He said that.
He said, if you kill your enemies, they win.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
I
presume he hasn't read Song Tzu then.
A politician that is much more of a definition of a cock than him. I cannot think.
I think in the future that there'll be in the dictionary they would have a picture of him next to cuckold.
Yes.
Look up Trudeau.
Fun fact, actually, do you know the funny story? It's slightly related to China, but do you know why New Zealand decided not to be a part of Australia?
Go on.
Okay, basically, there was a time in the 1800s, I think, where New Zealand and Australia were debating whether or not they should be part of the same province of the British Empire. And when New Zealand said to the Australians, "Okay, we want to be a part of you, but you have to stop discriminating against the Aboriginal population," to which the Australians reluctantly said, "Fine, we will stop being racist to the Aboriginals." But then the New Zealanders discovered that Australia has a huge Chinese population, and the New Zealanders, being racist to the Chinese, were like, "Okay, we don't want to be a part of you guys. You've got too many Chinese people." I mean, which is quite ironic if you think about it, because
oh my God. So they were saying to the Australians, "Don't be racist," whilst themselves are heavily racist towards the Chinese.
Yeah, basically, it's not okay to be racist to Aboriginals, but it's totally okay to be racist toward the Chinese.
Oh, the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy of the left.
Well, I mean, this was a long time ago. Like, I think early 1900s, late 1800s.
Let's be honest. I can imagine any leftist organization doing that today. that's not even like totally out of the realms of craziness. See them like they if you, for example, I can honestly see some kind of woke leftist government saying, you can it's no good if you're racist to the Aboriginals, but white men, oh fuck them.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from.
Speaking of the Chinese, but by the way, I mean, speaking of Asians in general, and not the British understanding of the word Asian, I mean, in the United States, probably in the universities, Asians have been scratched out from the oppression blackboard. In other words, they are not anymore on the list. They have been welcome to the white race in a way, to be honest. That they
the affirmative action, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, believe it or not, if you're of East Asian origin and applying to Harvard these days, you're more likely to be discriminated against.
Wow.
Actually, I'm wondering, is it possible?
They don't even pretend now.
Is it possible to be white? Sorry, but identify as black to increase your chances of getting into university in America? Because the whole race theory thing seems really odd in America.
I mean, there was one Indian student that have pretended that he's black just to get to the university. So,
yeah, there's a guy in Ireland, an white Irishman, pretended to be black to get a grant for that was set aside for black, I think, actors or some kind of acting association. They were going to give a grant to a black organization or black person who was going to do it, and this white Irish guy pretended to be black to get the grant, and he got it. Same as that woman. What's her name? Shoot, I forgot her name. I can't believe it. The one who was the leader of the AAC or whatever in America, in a portion of America. The white woman who pretended to be black.
I've got to pretend to be black more, man.
Guys, look, let's. I don't know. At this point, I'm questioning whether or not he said it in exactly those words, but I do remember a few quotes from him. For example, because it's 2015 or 2016, like basically because it's the current year. On one time, he said the budget is going to fix itself, and he has a bunch more quotes like those. So let's see this short video about his best quote.
You have a brain of the Ken doll from Barbie.
Space and time. And the budget will balance itself.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. The budget will balance itself.
Trying to whip out our CF-18s and show them how big they are.
Hold on.
Balance itself. Trying to whip out our CF-18s and show them how big they are.
Whip out our CF-18s and show them how big they are. To those jokers of Canadian jets bombing ISIS reveals an unserious mind. Yeah, I mean, show them how big they are. Jesus, whip out.
To be fair, the F-18 is a pretty sexy jet.
In the room appreciated it. There's a lot of people, refugees, displaced people fleeing violence who are facing a very, very cold winter in the mountains. If something Canada has expertise on is how to face a winter in the mountains. There's a level of admiration I actually have for China because their basic dictatorship is allowing them. The deficits are a way of measuring the kind of growth and the kind of success that a government is actually able to create. These rates are a bad idea. Yes, a big part of this plan is scrapping the income splitting for families. A large percentage of small businesses are actually just ways for wealthier Canadians to save on their taxes. Benefiting every single family isn't what is fair. We can grow the economy, not from the top down, but from the heart outwards.
Oh my God.
From the heart outwards.
I didn't hear this one before. grow the economy, grow the economy, not grow the economy not from up to down.
I mean,
Jesus. Oh,
I mean, I may be repeating myself, but I really have a strange feeling that somebody have bring Ken to life, and this is the effect. I mean, he's like a huge Ken doll from Barbie.
Well, what kind of bullshit is this? What kind of platitude crap is it? We can grow the economy not from the top down, but from the heart outwards. What does that even fucking mean? Does it actually even make like grammatical sense?
It doesn't.
What does that even mean?
I have to admit, I did not see this one before. This is my new favorite, honestly.
I mean, but what do we expect from a person that probably have a slight admiration for Castro? Do we expect something else in like economics from him?
I mean, he did say he has an admiration for China, so.
Pablo, look up the Distinguished Gentleman Acceptance Speech. It's a film by Eddie Murphy. Now, you could show the clip because it's a short clip, and you will literally hear Justin Trudeau in that speech. I'll tell you what. I'll find it. I'll put it in the side chat. Hold on.
Yeah. Put it in the side chat.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually just pandering to voters. Because, fun fact, not many people know this, but did you know that approximately 20% of the Canadian population is actually of Chinese descent?
No idea. Anyway.
Holy shit! Then, so you want to tell me then that?
You sure it's 20%?
20% are Chinese.
I don't really believe in that, man.
No, believe it or not, that is the case. It's much higher in Vancouver.
Oh shit!
What do you mean 20%? What?
Yeah, I mean about 20% of the Canadian population is of Asian origin, East Asian, not like the British.
Oh, okay, so it's not necessarily Chinese, man. It's East Asian.
Yeah, East
Japan,
Asian,
Korea, whatever.
Yeah,
So,
but the bulk of them are from China.
I still think 20% is too much, but East Asian.
No. It's not. I'm just simply pointing out that that could be a reason why he's saying it, because he's got to appeal to voters at the end of the day.
Well, who knows? But yeah, this one, grow the economy not from top to bottom, but from the heart outwards. Jesus, oh my God! This is a politician, by the way. This is not like a rapper or a singer or some kind of a whatever. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. I have a feeling that we're gonna get something even better.
How much have you spent in new promises thus far? You either know and won't say, or you don't know.
I'm more focused on actually talking about what we're going to do right away for Canadians than sitting there with a calculator, which you guys can sell.
Okay, I'm more focused in just talking about what we're gonna do for the Canadians than sitting with a calculator and actually explaining how are we gonna do it. What he said. Jesus.
We're looking at an expansion and a mandatory expansion of the CPP of the type that Kathleen Wynne put forward in Ontario. We have to look at the root causes, but there is no question that this happened because there is someone who feels completely excluded.
The Liberal Party believes that terrorists should get to keep their Canadian citizenship.
Oh no!
No.
Sorry, sorry, I didn't catch that last part. Who gets to keep their Canadian citizenship?
Terrorists.
Oh.
I'll check the side chat.
I'm sorry to say that, but Canada basically is like larger Britain now, to be honest, with that shit.
Okay, let's watch that again.
The Liberal Party believes that terrorists should get to keep their Canadian citizenship. Because I do.
We have to rethink elements as basic as space and time.
Yeah, I can see he's rethinking some basic elements with his own, shitty perspective.
Holy shit! And he's really the best proof why abortion should be legal.
He's a poster child for morons. But I want to go to Canada.
Yes,
Capital
but
City.
Banksy, but you better hurry because who knows what will happen to Canada with Justin Trudeau as a leader in a few years.
Oh, by the way, Pavlov, could you
Hurry
play
up.
that? Can you play that Family Guy clip I showed you?
I don't remember what was the Family Guy clip.
You remember the one with the one about rights?
Would also like to cite in Canada, but
maybe
before it going to become Canada.
You remember the one about you remember the one about rights, Pavlov?
Could you send it to the thingy
Yeah.
to the private chat? Send it to the private chat here in this stream, and I'll show it. I'll show it. I promise. But yeah, we got this video from Banks. It's pretty short.
People, we ran a positive campaign. We campaigned on the issue. The issue is change. Change for the future. The people have spoken.
What the fuck did he just say?
I mean, Justin Trudeau, just black version of Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, listen to the whole thing. I swear. Just listen to the whole thing.
Oh my god. People have said they want change. We have campaigned for a better future. Power to the people. We are the 99%. Woo! Like, fuck, man. Fuck.
Ask not what your country can do for you. You have nothing to fear but fear itself. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Live free or die. And in conclusion, read my lips.
None of it makes sense. It's like he just took
Very
quotes
good,
from
man.
different people.
This is so good, man.
I mean, but if he took that from a comedy, I mean, then really, I'm sorry for Canada.
This is really good, man.
Well, that's the thing.
Really,
This is like this was comedy that has now become reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think South Park is still fresh, despite the fact that it's been nearly 30 years?
Exactly.
I mean, the jokes write themselves. The writers, they don't have to do anything. As long as the world keeps acting crazy, they'll have tons of content to write about. I mean, I remember when The Simpsons got to the age South Park is, everybody was complaining that they've overstayed their welcome. Hell, I think they still have. But South Park, everybody still thinks they're fresher than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you there's also a movie called Idiocracy, and recently, like, there was a new advertisement or something that was put up. It says the satirical comedy that is now a documentary.
Yeah,
Banksy, I have watched this comedy, and frankly, we now live in it. Sorry guys, we live now in this comedy.
Well, it's mainly our audience, really. Let's be honest.
What?
It's just unbelievable how things that we used to take the piss out of are just have now become manifested into reality. Now they're literally what politicians are doing, or the woke brigade and all these other people. It's like it's happening. The moronic shit that we used to think were just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, let's check this video out. I quite like it personally.
Yeah.
This
I
one
find it very-
is a little bit woke too, but it does tell the truth, so it is true.
Actually, after many months at sea, Griffin Peterson and his shipmates finally reached the New World.
I declare this land Quahog.
This place is nothing but a wilderness. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna build a new settlement. We'll have a happy new life, and we'll have equal rights for all. Except blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Jews, gays, women, Muslims, everybody who's not a white man. And I mean white. So no Italians, no Polish, just people from Ireland, England, and Scotland. But only certain parts of Scotland and Ireland. Just full-blooded whites. No, you know what? Not even whites. Nobody gets any rights.
America.
I still like Family Guy.
Oh, I've always fucking hated Family Guy, but you know, they do have their moments.
Well, I mean, how about the bit where Stewie runs through a mall saying, help me, I just escaped from...
Kevin Spacey, right?
Kevin Spacey's basement, yeah! Come on, that's genius!
Yeah, Family Guy always tells the truth about celebrities. That's one thing we know about. We know about them.
But where do these East Asian communities exist in Canada? Because I never had an idea that in Canada there was such a big East Asian
bigger
community.
cities.
Well, I mean, really, it began really after the handover of Hong Kong. I'll let you extrapolate from there. Yeah, because basically many
of course they escaped.
Yeah, exactly. They escaped. I mean, many families lived there just to get the Canadian citizenship, and frankly, I don't blame them. I mean, they're mainly the biggest concentration is in Vancouver.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I did meet a Canadian girl who was East Asian one time, but it was like only one time. After that, every single Canadian that I met was white, so didn't really think there would be such a community.
You have no idea how many Punjabis also are there, and Indians and others.
In Canada?
I think it's a good thing, personally.
Are there so many?
Yes, very many. I mean, for example, Brampton, a town in Canada, is now called Brown Town for a reason.
Yeah.
Really?
No. Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, if anything, the culinary culture of Canada was pretty grim before these immigrants groups came over.
More restaurants. Now it's all closed. Oh, what difference does it make? It's all closed now. Thanks.
Yeah, it's true. It's tragic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I do not know what's gonna happen next. This is just so dumb. All the situation, this whole fucking thing.
I mean, you can laugh, Pavlov, but not so long ago, I have helped a Canadian, and guess what? He was a Sikh.
Sikh, you mean?
Yes.
He was a Sikh, yeah.
Yes, I helped him out in the city to go here and there.
Right. Did he speak Polish or English?
Punjabi. No, I don't speak Punjabi. But no, he have a normal Canadian accent. He was born and bred there.
Yeah.
I see.
Do you guys think we should send the Royal Navy into Hong Kong and just take it back by force?
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
But please,
you're never giving it up in the first place.
I mean, now take into account the Chinese nukes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck them.
Look, China has more military power than all of the EU combined, probably.
But that didn't stop us in the 1800s. We just sent in the gunboats and just yeah.
In the 1800s, you meant something. Now, almost nobody gives a fuck about the 1800s.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna the same tactics are gonna work anymore. I think Britain should have annexed Hong Kong at that time and made it into part of the British sovereign nations. You know what I mean?
Look, the Chinese. If you want to take over China, bring some opium there. That's the best way.
Well, I mean, think about it. The United Kingdom did a very good thing for China back then. The Chinese government were acting dictatorial by telling people, consenting adults, what they can and cannot do with their bodies. We, on the other hand, liberated the Chinese people into whether or not they should choose whether or not to consume opium themselves.
Okay.
I mean, who the bloody hell are the Chinese government to tell their own people whether or not they should be allowed to consume drugs? Look where the war on drugs has gotten us today.
Hold. Just a moment. The Chinese. Even before the communist government, the Chinese government was actually very similar, very authoritarian, if not totalitarian. And when I have talked with the Chinese from mainland China through the internet, they don't get our ways and our meaning of freedom. Many of them don't.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, the United Kingdom liberated the Chinese from themselves.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm being facetious now. Go on, just
Yeah,
go
I
on
know.
without me.
But yeah, I mean, look, it is true that it was pretty damn effective, and which is surprising because opium existed for a long ass time. You know, it wasn't like this new thing that the UK brought to China specifically to topple them. It was just two criminals in Hong Kong who started trading some opium, and then the base of power grew and grew and grew and grew, and next thing you know, all of China was hooked on opium, and it was fucked up. It was a fucked up situation. The country basically collapsed because of fucking opium. Why? It's like why? Why did it collapse because of opium? They knew what opium was. They had opium before that. Like it's not like opium was unknown in China. It just was more popularized. You know what I mean?
Well, the British were just very good at selling it.
I guess so.
I mean, world's greatest drug dealers here, born and bred in jolly old London.
Jesus, the world's greatest drug dealers. Congratulations, Great Britain.
Well, I mean, you foreigners wanted it. We just sold it. So we just gave you guys what you wanted.
Well, can't argue with that. Cannot argue with that. And then there's 100 years of humiliation, right?
Good times. I mean, terrible times. I don't know what I am. Am I Chinese or am I British?
Yeah, you could be both, man. You could be the son of a Chinese person and a British person or something. You could be trans-Chinese. That's it. Then you'll think.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a surgery where. Oh, never mind.
There definitely is. You know, in China and in Korea and even in Japan, you know, there's a popular surgery on the eyes.
I know of
fix the Asian eyes. They fix them, you know. That's how they call it. Those are their words, not mine. You know, they give them like basically.
And you know something, Pavlov? I would like to take my ass away from such a people as far as possible, because to me this is sick, to be honest. I mean, I really it's this kind of a self-hatred is beyond me, because that's what they do. The Asians hate themselves. They would like to be white in a way.
I mean, let's not generalize too much.
I mean, maybe not males, but
it was long. The desire for pale skin was there long before Europeans arrived.
But they have pale skin, man. It's like
okay. Think about it this way.
It's just that their features aren't white. You know, technically.
I know. But
the vast majority of people in East Asia are white in terms of pure color.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. But think about it this way: why do people from Northern Europe want to get a tan?
Because it's healthy. Vitamin D.
Not necessarily. No, it's seen as more.
Okay, because they think it looks good, right? They think it looks good.
Well, that and it's a status symbol. In Asia, it's the complete opposite way around. A tan is considered undesirable because it means you work under the sun as a labourer. And as a result, people want to get pale skin to, give the status that they're indoor office workers. Whereas in Europe, it's the complete opposite, where if you get a tan, it means you can afford to go somewhere hot and exotic.
Yeah, basically.
So it's more about status than anything else.
In Europe, it used to be the same way. People used to put makeup on them, so they would look whiter, so they would look pale. You know what I mean?
That was back in the Victorian era, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It was long ago, but it didn't. Such a time did exist.
Yeah.
Not very healthy though. You need some vitamin D though.
Yeah, everybody needs vitamin D naturally. I mean, why do you think those mine workers in Wales lived such short lives?
I'll be perfectly honest though, Chinese. I like getting tanned, and it's not necessarily a thing to do with status. I just look healthier. You got health. It sort of brings out the health indicator.
No, I get you completely, man. I live in Spain at the moment, and I like a tan because it actually makes me feel better.
Yeah, I actually like it when I have a bit of a tan because of it's just So you look healthier. You don't look pale and like on the verge of death.
Yeah, good for the skin.
I mean, yeah, and also, yeah, you've got vitamin D. You've absorbed some vitamin D instead of having to take pills, because in this country, literally, I'm not joking. I take vitamin D tablets because I have vitamin D deficiency. It's crazy. It's crazy. By the way, guys, I on a bit of a downer. I know it's a bit of a downer, but Barbara Windsor died yesterday.
Who's Barbara Windsor?
Oh, damn! You guys don't know Barbara Windsor. You know Barbara Windsor from the Carry On movies.
Was she? Is she related? Is she related to Liz?
No. She's
MC. Do you know Barbara Wilson?
Windsor.
Unfortunately, I'm also ignorant about her existence.
Dude, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Okay, if you ever watched old school Carry On movies in Britain or EastEnders, she had a big run in EastEnders as well, the TV the sort of sitcom. You would know. She's an actress. She's an old school British actress who was very voluptuous in the Carry On movies. She was considered. She was like the voluptuous, character, nurse, or whatever the movie happened to be. It only makes sense if you've seen Carry On movies. If you haven't seen Carry On movies, nobody would care. But yeah, she unfortunately died yesterday. But I mean, she was very old. I mean, I don't think it was corona or anything. I think it was just like regular old age.
With all honesty, Banksy, the Carry On movies that you have mentioned, I am hearing about them for the first time. I know British series, comedies, or other movies, but not this one.
With you. Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking 1950s and 40s.
Oh, so it's
50s.
It's way beyond my reach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why most people wouldn't know.
Yeah. Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah, she was aged 83, so she did all right. She hung in there.
Thanks. Friday Night Dinner. Ever watched it?
Friday Night Dinner? No.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a TV show?
Yes, TV series on 4. It's been on around.
Has it got the character from The In-Betweeners, the guy from?
Yeah, that's the one.
I've seen little bits of it. I haven't seen it all.
It's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, I've heard people have been telling me it's actually very good. I gotta look it up.
Yeah. Also, the chick on Countdown.
The what?
The girl on Countdown who does the numbers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Ever watch
she's in
it?
there as well. She's in the show.
No. She's not in the show. No, I was just wondering if you probably don't watch Countdown. But long story short, she's fit.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, you see, my Countdown is a little bit different from your era of Countdown. You're talking about probably this blonde girl, isn't she? Is she blonde?
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one prior to her, which was oh man, what was it? Carol Vorderman.
I forgot. I think so. Yeah, I think we're boring our Eastern European friends.
Yeah, probably. Because they have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Carol Vorderman is the old Countdown mathematics genius, and she was hot as hell. She's 59 now, so she is more in my zone than it is in yours.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hello, Miss Banksy. Miss Banksy, Carol Vorderman means nothing to me. You know that.
Right? I lost count of the amount of people who thought that she was actually your wife.
Yes.
Well,
maybe we'll see. Watch
I'm
this.
the only one that didn't thought that way, to be honest, because I knew from the start that Banksy is single, because we would have a talk. We had a talk a long time ago about having children and how we hate it to have.
Well, don't completely write us off yet.
Yeah, don't write anyone from the gene pool too soon, guys.
Well, I also haven't write off that possibility, but to be honest with you, Banksy, really, to be a parent, you have to be to a degree full of shit. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You have to have it.
But why do you have to be full of shit?
I mean, what I want to tell you is that you have to be a little bit hypocritical to make sure you're going to have the control over the children. You cannot allow, you cannot too soon, tell the children to question authority. You know why? I mean, any authority, because then they will undermine your own bullshit inside your own household. That's one of the things.
Yeah, but look, I tell you what, MC, I think it all depends on the way you choose to brand it. Like, you need to learn how to lie to your kids sometimes. You will have to lie to them sometimes. Because, sometimes it just takes too long to explain certain things. You know what I mean? Now, you should tell them the majority of the things.
Pavlov, I understand that, but in a way, I was lied to, but about certain things for too long, and I felt like I would be like I would be treated like a moron or somebody that would not understand. And certain things I have known when I was 27, 28, what is all about with this family, and frankly, I am holding grudges to this day on many family members.
Hold on, MC, but we are morons when we're kids. There's just no other way of saying it. We are stupid when we are kids. We need to learn shit. And to learn shit, we, sometimes our parents can't just let us learn the hard way, because the hard way is too hard. And the hard way
kill us.
Yeah, exactly. So they need to sometimes lie to us. Look, hold on. Let me give you a very clear example of this. For example, when my parents, in fact, my grandparents, because I lived in my very early years, I lived with my grandparents. When my grandparents told me, don't go there, don't go here, don't go there, it didn't work always. It sometimes worked, sometimes didn't work, because I wasn't a very obedient kid when I was a child. So, you know what they did sometimes? Because it was actually religion that helped in that specific situation. And I know you're going to hate this example, but look, they told me, if you go there, there's going to be a devil there. In Ukrainian, we say chort. Chort means basically like a demon or a devil.
I know, because it's also in
No,
my
it sounds the
language.
same. Exactly. So you know it better than any of the English speakers here, the word chart. And when I was a kid, I used to have lots of nightmares with this mythical creature that is chart. So I was definitely very afraid of them. And whenever they would tell me, you're going to find him there, it would work. It would work much better. You know what I mean? Now, when I became a bit older, it stopped working because, first of all, I just wasn't stupid enough to believe it, and secondly of all, I wasn't stupid enough to go to specific places that were dangerous, like for example, an electrical booth or some shit like that. And I would never think of going there when I was a little bit older.
I didn't have to go there.
Young,
I know, but frankly, I didn't have to go there. But my curiosity about the world have actually directed me to take a fork and put it in what? How do you say it in English? You know, the place where you put switches. I mean, I put it.
I know. In the
I was electrical acute.
Guys, how do you say it? How do you say it, guys? I don't remember it either now.
What is
European brothers? Where do you put the fucking entry, the plug?
Electricity, the electrical wires, for example.
Well, in the UK, funnily enough, we've got the safest plugs in the world.
Huh?
No. I say, where do you
put the plug? Where do you fit the plug? How's the hole called?
Oh, you mean the circuit breaker or?
No, the hole in the wall where you put the plug. How is it called?
Yeah, just plug
the wall socket.
The wall socket. That's the one. The wall.
Okay, so I put a fork to the wall socket, and I was electrical, so I didn't have to go anywhere. They didn't foresee that I would be so curious about the world.
Well, believe it or not, in the UK, we've actually got the safest plug sockets in the world because you can only activate 2 of them if you activate the top third one. The third one kind of acts like a safety mechanism. It's called the earth switch.
Exactly.
And a guy made a really cool video on it. And basically we've got really, really safe plug sockets in this country.
Not that it's recommended, but technically, if you put forks or whatever into the bottom ones, you still can't electrocute yourself because the third one has to be first inserted in order to open up the two at the bottom.
Exactly.
Technically.
Dude, Mrs. Banksy has friends around, man. Jesus, dude. What about socialist distancing? We can't do
Mrs.
that.
Banksy does not give a shit.
Oh, guys, I was
Love
wondering.
you, Miss Banksy.
Anyway, Banksy, I survived a lot of things. I also survived being hit by a car when he have drive with high speed. I only had a huge bruise on my back, but I have stand up and I want to even escape to the forest just to make sure I will not pay anything for destroying this car, because the kinetic energy of the impact on me was actually so intense that the car was a little bit damaged, and
That's crazy, dude.
it was crazy because I have escaped on a bridge, and I have told that guy a few minutes later that if you're going to take me to my parents, I would jump from that fucking bridge, and it was minutes after. Oh yeah,
that explains a lot, to be honest, MC. that cleared up a lot of things for me tonight. I'm joking. The Chinese. What happened to the Chinese?
The Chinese has been taken to one of the concentration camps.
Have they found him? As he has
They-
his
they
organs
finally
removed.
I mean, it is the time for the organ harvesting, so
yeah.
It's time.
Look,
he's gonna wake up in a bathtub full of ice tomorrow.
Pavlov, I don't know what. Did you start the show at actually 8:00 then?
I start a little bit later, not exactly at 8, like a few minutes after, because I was I thought that you had already started it, so I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't start it because you already started it. But then on StreamYard there was nothing, and I was like, oh whatever, I'll just start it.
Oh no, that's good. Thank goodness you did. Thank goodness you did, because I woke up at about 9 o'clock. Well, at the time I texted you, which was 9 o'clock.
Anyway,
I can't believe I just passed out. I just laid on my bed, and I hadn't slept much last night, and so I must have just passed out. And
No, that's
now we're
okay,
good.
man. That's okay. There's
okay.
no problem.
Nancy, I also have a question for you. How we will, if you even want to make that? I mean, you remember the article that I have shown you on your Discord about new YouTube laws that forbid us to talk about this one and only election.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, Tim Pool actually posted an image, or actually no, he actually posted on Twitter the letter, or some of the contents of a letter that he got from YouTube in regards to what is now not allowed to be talked about. And literally, you can't talk about the election, and well, you can talk about the election, but there are certain aspects of the election that you can't talk about on YouTube now.
I mean,
that is insane. It's like okay, how about the election? I don't know, in Belarus or in freaking Mongolia. Am I allowed to talk about that election? Am I talking about? Can I talk about the elections in Yemen? How is it the American election is the only election you're not allowed to talk about? It's just an election in a country. It's nothing to do with every other country in the world. It's not a global event. It's a singular solo event in one country.
So let's do it this way. We will not talk about the election, but we're going to just talk about
The thing is, that's fair enough. If YouTube, I mean, YouTube is a private company, and they want to do whatever they want to do, but don't pretend that you're a platform now. You're no longer a platform. You are now a publisher, and now you should be treated as a publisher, and you no longer get the protections of a platform. So now the American government should come down on YouTube and Twitter. I would personally come down on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook and make them all into publishers. You're the same as TV. You're the same as newspapers. You're the same as books. You are a publisher. Now you're going to have to censor everything the way a publisher would, but also you're under the jurisdiction of the sort of editorial bureaus in whatever country you live in. So if you're, if YouTube is an American company, then whatever federal Federal Bureau of Broadcasting that they have in America has to now come and audit YouTube. They have to now come and audit Facebook and Twitter until these guys can prove that they are actually abiding by the rules of a platform and not a publisher. If you behave like a platform, you stay as a platform. If you don't behave like a platform, you become a publisher, and then now you're subject to all of those rules. Fuck them, because it will kill them. Because this is the thing: if YouTube and Facebook, if these social media companies are treated like platforms, it will kill them. No, who's gonna? You won't be able to upload anything onto these platforms anymore. Everything
Like
has to.
publishers. Like
Yeah.
publishers.
Exactly. Just like newspapers. Just like you would be liable for suing. You could sue YouTube if some fat thought talks shit about me. I could sue YouTube.
Who would you possibly mean?
I don't know. I don't. It could be anyone. It could be any chubby chav thought anywhere in the world. I could go and sue YouTube for putting slanderous remarks on their publishing slanderous remarks against me. So anyone who says anything about anyone on YouTube. So if I go ahead and call Joe Biden a child molester, YouTube could be sued for that. That's why they don't want to become a publisher. That's why they're trying to hold on to their platform status, because literally anyone that says anything on YouTube is liable for prosecution. And that would destroy them. That would absolutely destroy them. They would have to take 90% of people off YouTube. 90% of people like us.
Absolutely. It's going to be a huge pain in the ass to deal with the minutest problem. And there's fucking gorillions people on YouTube. Like, look, imagine this. There's millions of people on YouTube, right? And every single of those people can make multiple fake accounts to do whatever they want. Just imagine what the fucking pain in the ass of having to deal with all these things. It's unimaginable. You're completely right. It's going to absolutely annihilate YouTube if they are considered as a publisher, as an actual. It's going to destroy them. But
because you can't have a free account anymore.
Yeah,
you can't just create a free account. You would have to be as if you're being hired. If you want to create a YouTube account and create YouTube videos, you would have to be literally hired by YouTube, like an employee of YouTube, just like a news reporter that is hired by, I don't know, the Washington Post. Then they can write articles and journals in the Washington Post. But you have to be then hired by Washington Post. You can't just write whatever the hell you want on the Washington Post website, or just send a letter in and they'll publish it for you. They can't. You can't. No average person can write a column in the Washington Post or the Times, or I don't know, the Financial Times or any of that crap. You have to be an employee of that publisher. It would be the same as YouTube. Anyone who wants to post a video on YouTube, they would have to literally be employed by YouTube, because they're not. It's a publisher. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the same with Facebook, the same with Twitter. It would just destroy. It would kill these platforms. It would overnight. These platforms will be gone. Will be destroyed, because all they could do is have people that they hire putting material content onto their platform. They can only have.
It's like they're as authoritarian as a publisher, without actually having to have the responsibility that a publisher would have.
Exactly. That is the hypocrisy in this whole thing, is that they are acting like publishers, but with the advantages of being a platform. And you can't do. The governments should not allow them to do that. The governments have to step in at this point and say, you are no longer behaving like a platform, and so your platform status is going to be revoked. And I'm telling you, if they even make that threat, these companies will flip in a heartbeat. They will suddenly become the most free speech places on the fucking planet.
That threat needs to come from a big authority, though. It's not just some random average Joe, just like a random weak country that would make
Oh
that
no,
flip. It needs to be the U.S. and it needs
yeah,
to be not only the U.S. but a few other countries, a few other important countries, and it needs to be like a serious threat. Okay, guys, you're not gonna act the way you're acting, or we're gonna force you to be an actual publisher. Because you're acting like a publisher and you're doing shit that only a publisher could do, and you're treating people as if you were a publisher. You're having the power of a publisher. So with great power comes great responsibility.
exactly.
The power, you don't get the responsibility. What is that?
The reason they will never, I mean, let's put it this way: no European country will ever do that to these platforms, and I'll explain why. The only country that had a chance, and that was America under Donald Trump.
US, yeah.
Yeah, because they're the ones who have the most amount of influence on these companies, because these are US based companies. But the reason the Europeans will never do it was because the Europeans want more restrictions and more
that's true.
censorship on these platforms. And the reason why they don't want them to become publishers is because they want them to have the kind of monopolistic hegemony that they have over social media, because they can, the politicians in Europe can control these social media companies by forcing them to censor, and at the same time the people will, because of the monopoly that these companies have, the people will not go into other more free speech platforms like social media platforms, because they're kind of used to these platforms. Oh well, Facebook is all right, oh well, YouTube is here, so they're not willing to put up with the lesser quality standards of smaller platforms. So people will stay on YouTube because it's convenient, because it's got the money behind it to develop all the features that you are used to on. That's why nobody goes on BitChute. Imagine if YouTube, if you and I couldn't publish on YouTube anymore, if we couldn't broadcast on YouTube, we would be forced to go elsewhere, because we just won't have a choice, because YouTube has become a publisher. So the only 20 people can publish on YouTube. That's it. We're fucked. We have to then go on to D Live, or I don't know, whatever smaller platform that we can find. And since we're not being forced to do that right now, and since the audience is not forced to go elsewhere to find the content that they want, this works out both for the companies and it works out for the authoritarian governments, because the authoritarian governments can dictate how these companies produce or monitor their content, and the companies themselves are quote unquote free for the average person to view, but they're not free. I mean, we all know that they're not free. You are the product of these companies. If they're free for you to use, that means you are the product that they produce. Your information, your habits, your shopping habits, your details when it comes to Facebook, your behavior, they sell this as a product. You are a commodity to these companies, and so they give it to you for free, quote unquote. But the main crux of this is that the European governments, they want these companies to have the monopoly that they have, so that the people are controlled. This is because the internet is the Wild West. The internet, from its inception, it came about in such a way that no singular person has hegemony over it. No singular country has any real control over it. You think, I mean, as I said, I keep telling people, Google, Facebook, Twitter, all these large organizations, I don't even think they constitute 2%, 3% of the internet. They are not the internet. They are just the means in which you experience the internet through. But the internet itself is far, far bigger than that. And it's far more new, it has so many different avenues and alleyways and areas that you have never even probably come across. Most of these normies call it the fucking dark web. It's not even the dark web. It's just other parts of the internet that they don't know about. So that's the thing. If they ban these, if these companies are restricted, and the normal people start to go, okay, I can't use Twitter anymore, I can't really use Facebook anymore, then they will venture out into the other parts of the internet, into the uncontrolled, into the wild seas of the internet that the governments don't have any control over. the governments don't have much say over. And they don't want, it's okay for the occasional, for the handful of nerds to go off into those parts of the internet that the government doesn't have any control, because they're just little nerds and they're the fringes of society. But they can't have your grandma fucking using Tor websites, Tor browsers. If the day comes that your grandma is using Brave and Tor browser, the governments are fucked. They're like, oh shit, we've now screwed up, because they have no control. They have no ways of monitoring and maintaining the narratives.
I mean,
the question, Banksy, is not if, but when. I mean, not our grandmas and grandpas, but we're going to be all the old ones, and we're going to use something similar.
Eventually, yes, but for every 20 tech-savvy grand old person, there's still 100 normie person of the same age who doesn't know how to use any of this. Because I'll tell you this, I helped my brothers. My brothers are younger than me, and I helped all of them to be as tech-savvy as possible. But none of them went into IT as a career. So none of them became geeks. They just became reasonably tech-savvy adults. But my brothers are still normies in a lot of ways. And they're my brothers, and they're younger than me too. So they should even be more tech-savvy than me, but they're not, because that's not their interest. They don't want to become techies. One of them is a lawyer. The other one works in a different industry entirely. They don't really care about the nuance of the internet and Tor browsers and Linux operating systems. They're like, fuck this shit, man. I'm gonna go buy an Apple. My brother buys everything Apple because it's so fucking convenient and easy for him. He's not into all of this nuance. So for every one or two geek, there'll be 8 or 9 normies who will always abide by the rules of the game, who will always buy the government's narrative, who won't venture too far out off the beaten path. And so the government doesn't need to control every one of us. They just need to control a percentage. And that's what they work with. They work with percentage.
Excuse me.
Corona Chan.
It's almost like snooker. I don't know if you guys ever played the game of snooker. With the game of snooker, similar to pool, but snooker is much harder and much more nuanced. You have to be much more careful about your shots. The thing with the game of snooker is the person who's making the shot, he wants to control where the white ball ends up after the shot has been made. Now, he can control it, but only within percentages. He can't control it exactly. He can't say, I will hit this white ball, and the white ball will hit that red ball, and the red ball will go into the pocket, and the white ball will be precisely, 45 degrees angle to the 30s, I don't know, Pythagorean's sort of angular momentum or whatever. He can't navigate the ball that exactly, but he doesn't need to. All he needs to do is he looks at this percentile and says, I need to be about 40% or 50% in this general area. And then I can control the ball and hit it elsewhere. And I can also then take it from this general area to the next general area. And I just need about 50% plus accuracy. I don't need 100% accuracy. I need 50 to 80% accuracy to be able to get it to where I want. And that's how the governments work with the population. They don't need to have the 100% of the population doing what they want. They need about 50 to 80%, somewhere in that percentile range. Maybe even not even that. Maybe sometimes 20 to 40% is enough to get the population moving a certain direction. Even what's his name? Lister, Fascist Beware. He said 3% of the population can move 80-90% of the population. They can manipulate and affect 80%. You only need 3% of the population to move the whole narrative, to move the whole population. And even people like Ralph know this, and they're working on those numbers. They're not working on trying to convince 90% of Britain to become the crazy fascist ideas that they believe in, the NRX and all that shit. They just want about 3%. They want to get a hold of about 2 to 3% of the population in order
Yeah,
to.
but the problem is what he doesn't realize is that even 3% is aiming way too fucking high for him. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, these guys barely
he-
even have 0.0000000.
yeah. But look, I think he realizes it. I think he realizes that it's just his audience doesn't realize it. That they will never get even 0.001.
Yeah.
Like they have their own fucking echo chamber. Kind of like Overkill. Coming back for that shit show for a second. It's like him doing a revolution of truthers in the UK. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely nothing is gonna happen. Like they might autistically screech occasionally. They're not gonna do shit. Absolutely nothing. It's just completely ridiculous to even consider it. It's the big boys that matter, the big interests that matter. That's what I wanted to know more about. What exactly is the actual big interest? Because listening to these truthers, to Ralphs, to these John Overkills is absolutely ridiculous. They're not gonna know shit. They're the sheep. They're not the shepherds. You need to speak with the shepherds. You need to know what they actually intend on doing. Then you can say, okay, yeah, I agree, or no, I disagree with this, or whatever. Because I'm sure that there might be some people who intend to do some good things with this, but I'm also sure that there are many people who intend to only defend themselves, and that's probably the majority of people with actual power. They only want to achieve their personal goals. Now, what are they? That's the question. That's what nobody knows.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a similar sort of. I mean, I've noticed it actually, that the power of just being able to, and first of all, being consistent. See, the thing is, Pavlov, the reason we may not have to fear these Ralph types now, but I think given time and persistence, they may have some potential, because of the fact that I saw, like, if you look at the leftist woke brigade that is in full swing, in full power now, they all started in the 90s and in the 80s. They didn't start now. They started then. This woke shit started back then. It's just it took a long time. It took 30, 40 years for them to develop the kind of momentum and power that they now have. Even now, the loudest ones are the minority, but they are the ones who are getting the attention of the media. They're the ones who are now getting the attention of the politicians, because that's the stage that they've made them. So they managed to crawl their way into the universities and into the positions of power within universities, within becoming professors and administrators of universities, which will then push the woke agenda within that environment, which created a whole generation of quote unquote woke millennials, which, with the advent of social media, their voices were amplified far beyond their numbers. I mean, you can see it. You can see most people hate these woke assholes, and yet they dominate the Twitter and the Facebook and the social media sphere. They are absolutely, beyond. Their powers are almost godlike in those environments. But when you take them into the streets, this is why someone like Tommy Robinson can get 5,000 people out on the streets, and no blue head checkmark fucking feminist can get 20 people out in the streets, because in the streets there literally are the minorities. They're fuck all. But in the sort of online sphere, they seem to be all powerful. They seem to be untouchable. And unfortunately, corporations, because they always look at their bottom line, they started to fold and yield to this very minority, very small voices that seemed very powerful on the internet. And now, I'll be honest, I'm starting to see it. I was talking to a girl who wanted to do game development recently. She wanted to go into game development, and her 2 years of her course involved feminism in technologies. I'm not joking. Feminist technologists, something like that. It was. Hold on, let me. Feminist. I think it was something like feminist tech. technology theory or something like that. It's fucking insane. It's feminist technology. It's let me see. Is this the one? I think this is the one. Shit, come on. Damn Wikipedia. Yeah, feminist technology is a movement found in several. What? Oh no, that's feminist theology. Shit, sorry, wrong one.
That's right.
Wow,
Theology, feminist theology. Holy shit, man!
Yeah, there is
Praise
a
to the feminist
Oh,
theology.
oh yeah, be praised the great holy vagina.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I mean, 2 years of her course. The first, the second, and third year were going to be one of the core elements of the course was feminist technology, and like feminism in technology. Effectively, people quit. It says the majority of people after the first year they quit the course because they were like, "I came here to learn how to design games. What the fuck is this shit?" So they just left the course. Nobody wants to join a nobody wants to join a gaming course and then find that it's feminist technology that they have to fucking learn in order to learn how to build. It has nothing to do with building games. These guys wanted to make games, not feminist theory. So yeah, it's affected ridiculous. I mean, I never had any of this shit when I was at university. Admittedly, when I was at university, the only computer courses that we actually had available was information technology or information systems, which were part of the same sort of course, and computer science. That's literally all the courses we had available to us in IT. Computer science was like the number one, especially if you want to become a programmer or a gamer or anything you wanted to do in IT. Computer science was the only course that was available. And then information technology or information systems was the next one. But that's it. There were no other courses available. Now there's a giant list of different courses. And now they've infiltrated this feminist and woke theories are no longer just like you don't just have to go and do feminist studies or I don't know critical race theory or any of that bullshit. No, if you go and do science, if you go and do regular IT and science or core what they call STEM fields, they've got feminist theories and woke theories in STEM fields now. So if you go and study, I guess biology it's not going to be just biology. It's going to be feminism in biology or woke biology. It's going to be bullshit like that. Students are the indoctrination is through the roof now when it comes to universities.
Yeah, like in all good times and behind the Iron Curtain when they have to try to put marks in every fucking place possible.
Yeah, pretty much they will inject the ideology in every facet of your study. So you can't do a course that doesn't have some aspect of woke culture within it. You think you're going to go and become a doctor and just learn about biology? No, you're going to learn about feminist biology.
I want to
the doctors back, the females back from becoming doctors.
Anyway, I want to switch a little bit the topic now from that, but it's a similar thing. I mean, and the effects of it we have seen starting from the 1960s in the Central Asia, when they have made a lake the size of Lithuania, the Aral Lake. You know, Pavlov, where that is. To go to simply disappear because it's a saltwater lake in the desert. Because you know the communists have teach in the Soviet Union that they will even manage to somehow tame Mother Nature. And they want to plant cotton. I mean, they want to have cotton plantations in the fucking desert, and they want to supply it with two rivers, Amur Darya and Sir Darya. They have reversed the stream of the rivers that they have just. Those rivers have kept the lake alive, and when they have reversed the stream of those rivers from the 1960s till the 1990s. There was almost no Aral Sea, so called. I mean, this lake was. You could see that from the orbit of the Earth. If you would be in the Soyuz capsule or or the space shuttle. I mean, that's the effect of ignoring hard science and ignoring especially facts and logic. And you know, it's basically called the Chernobyl of Central Asia.
Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You can dominate Mother Nature in some ways, but not if you're a brain dead commie. Like, commies have a very long and gruesome history of trying to meddle with nature and failing very, very, very. So it's like a death sentence if a communist regime is saying, "Oh, we're gonna dominate nature," people are gonna die, and most likely, and nature is gonna be fucked, and shit is gonna go down the drain. So you know, that happened there. Only one more example.
My dear Mr. Pavlov, I'm afraid I have to depart. So I don't know if you want to end the show or not, but you carry on.
Yeah.
You do you, boo. But thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone. And I will peace out. Thank you for saving the show tonight.
Of course, always, man, always.
That's why we work so well. You know, we got each other's back. When one passes out, the other one runs the show. When one's internet is fucked up, the other one takes over.
That's right.
That's right. Take care. Thank you, MC, for coming. I love you, man. And by the way, guys, MC posts some amazing crap on my Discord server. Go check it out. He's put up so much memes. It's unbelievable. Some of them are so funny. It's brilliant. Thank you, MC, for being you, man. Take care, guys.
My pleasure. I always also have thanked myself for being me.
Thank you for pleasuring yourself.
Oh, no.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, let's end with at least a little bit dignity, guys. See you later, MC. See you later, bro.
See you later. Till next time. Truth supremacy. Bye.
Oh, that's the one. See you guys later.